Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Listen, I think we got everything figured out. I'm so excited because it's like, well, I was trying to download everything and do everything, and the internet was not working for me earlier. So we are here. Hold up, y'all. I'm like hearing myself. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button, please, and thank you. Let's wait for some people to get in here. Give them some time to get in here. Welcome, welcome. Don't be hiding. I said we appear to be missing someone, says Nebby. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. Let's make sure we hit the like. I'm kind of like upset because it's like I really wish I would have. It's just the internet wasn't working. I couldn't even get my settings straight earlier. I don't know what it was. It was the internet was working against me. So, a couple things. We have the documents. Now we officially have the documents because there was an issue with their system and whatnot. I was like, I don't know, is it just me or whatnot? So we have the documents about the book. We have the book. We do. We have it on recording. Of course, it's been edited, transformed for fair use commentary while we are live. If you've never heard of this book, apparently this is the catalyst of what's being used to basically talk about Keffe D's, plotting against, well, his role in the murder of Tupac. Okay, for those that are wondering, so we have that ready to go. It's queued up and edited and everything. We have that, and then we have these court documents right here that I purchased. I was having a hard time purchasing, but essentially it was defendant's opposition to the state's motion in eliminate Compton Street Legend and the underlying evidence that establishes the credibility of defendant's accounts, as well as circumstantial evidence of the identity of the killers uncovered during the last 30 years, and supplement suppression of defendant's 2008 recorded interview. Okay, so 2008 recorded interview, the Alford plea that was released by Greg Kading. For those that don't know, he was like the LAPD officer. He was one of many that were law enforcement involved in the investigation to the murder of Tupac, and I believe briefly with Biggie as well. So we're going to take you back to 1996, y'all. We are prepping because we have a trial next week. We have a trial next week. So we are trying to get everything ready, get everybody up and ready to go. Some of y'all are like, what is this about? Why do I care? Yada, yada. Well, you don't have to. I mean, but I think it's I think the murder of Tupac is one of those that's shocked many communities, especially given that it's been unsolved for like 30 years. And now, I guess somehow through evidence, his Mr. Keefe D's self-confession, his self-disclosure, his whatever he's put out there, he's made money off of this, all the things that he's done, somehow it's all been pinpointed to him. Now, present time, and what I mean present time, 2026, he's now saying, it wasn't me, I didn't do it. Diddy had nothing to do with this. Literally, just recently. Now, what I was able to find, and before I even play this, let me play my little disclaimer here because we're not trying to break the YouTube guidelines. We are not trying to do any of that sorts. So again, this is commentary under fair use and for educational purposes, 29 seconds. Hello, everyone. Please note that this broadcast is strictly for educational, documentary, scientific, and artistic purposes. It falls under the EDSA. While the themes, imagery, or discussions may touch upon some graphic, sensitive, or challenging topics, the context is entirely analytical and educational. This stream does not encourage, promote, or glorify any kind of behavior or any acts, but rather provides critical analysis and historical documentation. In particular, we talk about a range of topics that fall under EDSA. Thank you for watching, guys, and make sure you hit the like button. Yes, we're covering a real case, a real true crime case, and I think it's important to talk about that. As you guys see up on the screen, we have these documents, but I want to go back a little bit further before we even go there. Let's go back to this recording, okay? This is essentially it's not the full recording. The full recording that Greg Kading has never been released. There's been bits and pieces of it, so there's things out there of it, but not the entire thing. Play this.
We went to eat. We was eating. Man, they came and said, "You just beat up Lane." And we was in the hotel. Yeah. Yeah, at the MGM and the restaurant. There was a few New Yorkers though who was with Zip. Like, man, y'all need some help. We got this.
That's what they said?
You guys aren't out in Vegas then with that intention. That's not why you're in Vegas.
You can kind of hear Greg Kading's voice here. So they got the music in the background, but you can hear snippets of Keffe D telling them like what's happening with Orlando. Zip, which is another individual that was involved. And it's actually how Keffe D got to know Puff Diddy. For those that don't know, that's Diddy's other name, Puffy, Puff Daddy. You hear him mentioning all these things here. And it's a very brief recording. But again, the full entire recording has never really been released. It's always just been snippets of it.
We've been going to the fight since Pat days, you know, the 80s.
So y'all geared up to go to Vegas. Y'all was going anyway. Not even knowing who else was going to be down there. Not knowing if possible.
So here's the deal. When we're watching earlier, Greg Kading's interview where he said, well, I went to Keffe D and I told him, I asked him if I could, release this recording. I highly doubt that Keffe D would have approved of the release of the recording. Something tells me that that's not the case, especially because he's divulging information to the cops. And why would he do that? Especially if he had this persona to uphold and if he was very concerned about the safety of his family and whatnot. But I guess that's up for debate. Greg Kading has a version of the story that he went to my house, or no, I went to his house and I told him I was going to expose this. And I just don't know if I believe all that. Honestly, I don't think, to me, Greg Kading gives me, who said it earlier? Was it Mark Furman? Dirty cop. He just kind of gives, I don't know what it is about that guy. I don't know.
The Benz. He had a little secret compartment. Thing popped out. It popped up. Popped off. Yeah.
In the armrest?
Yeah.
Backing up Keefe's story, we had a cooperating witness who was present at the MGM that night after Orlando Anderson was beat down. He testifies to the fact that he sees Orlando Anderson bleeding from the head, and he sees the group get together to start to plan the retaliation. In fact, he heard one of the guys say, "Fuck that shit. What Tupac think this is? We gangbang out here." The witness also confirms that he overheard Zip say, "We have artillery out here," meaning guns.
Y'all want us to come? Like, we know what them motherfuckers at. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, so Lane and Cadillac with the...
So here he's telling them exactly how everything went down that night. Okay, they were coming from the 266 nightclub, which was a nightclub that was owned by Suge Knight.
Brown in that, right?
Yeah.
Passenger seat is Keffe D. Behind the driver is DeAndre Smith. And in the right rear passenger seat is Kefe's nephew, Orlando Anderson.
And you know what the crazy part is all of these people, the only one that's alive that I mean, I think all of them have passed away, but Keffe D, right? So now everybody that night has they're gone. The only two living people that were there that night, I mean, truly that were in the car or around this, Keffe D and Suge Knight. That's it. There's nobody else. So it's been that long, right? Just so people are aware. But the thing is that with Keffe D and his own writings in this book that now he's trying to suppress. Now he's trying to say, oh, it was just for profit. It was just this. It was just that. I'm like, but wait a minute. When Vlad TV called him up and said, hey, I'll pay you 120, what did he say, 120 or $150,000 for that interview. Keffe D goes and he does that interview and basically tells on himself, right? So there's that. So I was like, some people don't understand, what is the big deal with this book? What is the issue? And I think it's important to talk about the book. We actually have it now queued up. But before we go to the book, let me see if I can share, at least review this court document that I did get that I thought was important, that was submitted by, now it's supposed to be a hearing on this today. I don't know what was decided on this today, but apparently they're saying, this is from the defense. They're saying that it establishes the credibility of the defendant's account as well as circumstantial evidence of the identity of the killers undercovered during the last 30 years pursuant to NRS, and supplementals are made based upon the papers and pleadings on the file Herein, the attached points and authorities in support thereof, any oral argument at the time, said hearing if deemed necessary for the honorable court. Little memorandum here, basically that on September 29, 2023, the state of Nevada filed a criminal indictment charging Keffe D, Duane Keith Davis, with one count of murder with use of a deadly weapon with the intent to promote, further, or assist a criminal gang. Okay, and that is, again, out of a felony level. The decedent was Tupac Shakur. An offense was committed on September 7, 1996. The case was presented to the grand jury on July 27th of 2023, August 10th, 2023, August 17th of 2023, August 24th of 2023, and August 31st of 2023, September 7th, 2023, September 14th, and September 28th of 2023. Then you have December 14th of 2023, the defendant filed a motion for release on his own recognizance, or in the alternative to set reasonable bail. But December 28th, the state filed an opposition with a notice of exhibits. So you have January 3rd, 2024, the state filed a supplemental to the state's opposition and notice of exhibits. On January 8th, 2024, defendant filed a reply. And then January 9th of 2024, the court set bail at $750,000 with house arrest to include high-level electronic monitoring and required source hearing. On June 20th, 2024, a bail bond was filed to post the $750,000 bail. A source hearing was held June 25th of 2024, and the court issued a minute order. Okay, we have that in there. I'm going to try to go as fast as we can. So basically, on January 15th, 2025, the state filed an opposition, and January 21st of 2025, the court denied the motion to dismiss. The order denying the motion to dismiss was filed February 25th of 2025. So December 22nd of 2025, defendant filed a motion to suppress evidence obtained from an unlawful nighttime search. Then January 20th, 2026, the state filed opposition. On February 11, 2026, defendant filed a reply. And then February 17th of 2026, the court denied the motion to suppress. Okay, so now here we are. The order denying the motion to suppress has not been filed. April 16th of 2026, defendant filed a motion for discovery and evidence vault review. The state did not file an opposition. The evidence vault review was conducted on April 23rd of 2026, and file review was conducted on May 11, 2026. On June 9, 2026, defendant's motion for discovery was formally ruled upon, denied in part and granted in part. So I'm going to try to go here. Now, here we are. June 17th of 2026, defendant filed a motion to sequester. Look at this. The defendant filed a motion to sequester the jury and a motion to suppress defendant's statements to police and the book Compton Street Legends, the book that we have now. The state did not file an opposition to defendant's motion to sequester the jury. Sequester, of course, means that, if you're selected as a juror, they'll basically won't let you go home until the trial is over. Okay. So they'll keep, if there's funds available, I guess they'll keep the jury up in a hotel or something to that effect until, the trial is over. And essentially what that is supposed to do is allow the jury to be away from media or from any kind of influence if the case is high profile. But I'll be honest with you. Do you guys think that this is a high profile? I'm not saying it's not high profile, but maybe the individuals involved, right? That it's kind of like, yeah, everybody should be sequestered. What do you guys think? I feel like, I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me see. You said Diddy is all over this. To me, it sounds like he had a pact with Suge for the masters of Biggie and Pac. Think about how much money involved. Well, wait, what? The conversation? I don't know what you mean by the conversation. You said that's a high profile because of the victim. Yeah, high profile? You think that people are going to be traveling all over the place? You said they will keep you away, and it's describing keep the jury away from others. Correct. Yeah. So basically, they just keep everybody out of the media. My thing is that you can't really keep, do people listen to this music? Do they grow up in this era? You grew up around this time frame? What if there's people, I mean, are there people out there that never heard of Tupac? Maybe. You'd be amazed. I don't know. But, or Keffe D, for example. Some people don't even know people will know who Tupac is, but they may not know who Keffe D is, right? They might not even know. You said, yes, I think high profile because it's one of the biggest unsolved murder cases of all time. There you go. There you go. The jury questionnaire will be like, are you East Coast or West Coast? You know what, DeMarie? That's a funny joke. Are you East Coast or West Coast? What side of the world? Did you listen to East Coast or West Coast? Okay, that shit was funny. Shout out to you. I know I didn't even D pulled a funny one. Everyone has heard of this. It seems. I just like. Okay, let me tell y'all. Like, I could see my dad. Okay, y'all know El Diddy, my dad, right? My dad knew who Diddy was, and he's never heard a song of Diddy. He just knows that he's some guy because he watches the news, right? So if I were to say, Dad, do you know who Keffe D is? No, who's that? He's going to be like, no, who's that? That's what he's going to say. Who's that? Who's Keffe D? Because he knows like the names of certain, but Keffe D is not one of them. So I don't know, y'all. I still don't know who. See, some people don't know who Keffe D is because it's not like, I don't know. I'm sure people will learn about Keffe D later on. West Side, even though I'm East Side, I don't fuck with Diddy. You're coming over here to our side, aren't you, Kadisha? Aren't you? Aren't you? I thought I heard him years blaming Zip. Listen, I'm a nurse. I don't know who he's blaming because now he's like, well, that didn't happen this way. It was a lie. Shout out to Kadisha Lynn who told me about that part 2 interview. It didn't happen that way. It was a lie. It never went down that way. Let me see. Hold up. Let me go to my history so I don't have to search for the video. Lord have mercy, because this one did take me out a bit. I said, no, you did not just say that it was a lie. Not watch this. Hold up. Who's Diddy? I don't know who Diddy is. I don't know who Diddy is. I'm trying to sound like him, but I'm not doing a good job. Who's Diddy? I don't know. Diddy had nothing to do with this. I don't know who that is.
Davis's insist in an interview with our 8 News Now investigators that he did not kill Tupac Shakur. His trial, though, is just a week away.
Speaking with our own Vanessa Murphy Davis, blaming the son of former head of security for death row records for the killing in an interview you will only see right here on 8.
For those that missed it.
If you did not have anything to do with Tupac Shakur's murder, who do you think did?
To me, I think they witnessed Reggie Wright Jr. All he do is lie and tell stories. He even be on interviews threatening my son, you know what I'm saying? Threatening my family. It's wrong. Even Katie be on them interviews threatening my family. You know, it's wrong, man. It's wrong.
In that 400-page motion filed by the DA's office, one of the points that they are trying to make is that a lot of what you have said is true. So you're sort of your own witness, that you said you went to prison for selling drugs, all of these specifics, your role with the Crips. So they're saying you were accurate, so you might be accurate about the murder.
They're lying. It's a bunch of lies.
You know what else kept coming up in the court documents? Biggie's murder, and how at some point you were a suspect.
Yeah, they took my car and did forensics on it. And that car was never shot out of or nothing like that. And it's wrong because I was under the parking garage when that man got killed. When he got killed, they came running back and went in there and said, they just killed Biggie. And I was under the parking garage. That stuff happened. They just, to me, the police did that stuff.
Oh.
Who expert shots like that, you know what I'm saying? Ain't no who Compton like that or Watts or in our area shoot like that, you know what I'm saying? You have to be a marksman.
So you had nothing to do with Biggie's murder?
Nothing to do with nobody's murder.
And then a name that kept coming up, and it has come up, and I think I've asked you about this before, Sean Combs.
Yeah.
Diddy, Puffy, whatever. Do you think he had anything to do with the murder of Tupac Shakur?
No, ma'am. I don't think so at all.
What about Biggie's?
I don't think neither one.
What happened? Maybe he woke up with amnesia. He said, no, ma'am. No. She's like, Diddy, Puffy, whatever. One of those. No, ma'am. If I were to tell him, hey, can you blink if you're okay? I don't even. He's like, no, ma'am.
To me, it's the disgruntled police out there in our area. Reggie Wright, all he did was lie at night.
He's still Reggie Wright. Reggie Wright. Reggie Wright is a witness, by the way.
Anderson took the boy, took his chain. Don't bring your guns. It just, I get a lot of stuff from PIs, private investigators, and all the fingers and evidence point to Reggie Wright Jr. And he brought up my name from day one.
Davis is expected in court on Tuesday.
So, of course, that took a lot of us by surprise. A couple things to highlight, too, from the court document, just to share it before we run into what Keffe D confessed to. So, in June 17 of 2026, the defendant filed a motion to sequester the jury. The court did deny that motion. June 30th of 2026. The court denied defendant's motion to sequester the jury in part and granted the motion in part, granting partial sequestration of the jury at trial. Now, I don't know what partial sequestration means. What does that mean? Okay. The court denied defendant's motion to suppress defendant's statements to police and the book Compton Street Legends. The court granted the state's motion in limine to admit gang affiliation for the purposes of establishing motive, but not for the purposes of identification. You said, what about the interviews with 50 Cent and the doc with the leaders and the serious gangs about all this? They don't know him anymore. I don't know. You said, why the hell did he all of a sudden start looking back and forth with you? Ms. Eber, he can't even look straight anymore. That body language, somebody get the body language expert. I mean, you don't even need to be a body language expert to tell that this man is not being truthful in there. But so what do we, I guess all of this is for entertainment purposes, I guess. I don't know, man. But that's all right. Let me stop, y'all. Like, some of these people don't self-snitch and don't, like, you wanted to profit from the crime. You just didn't want to be responsible for the crime, I guess. I don't know. What do y'all think? You can't make this up. Kirk Burroughs is being reported as a witness to. Oh, and by the way, I did go back to see, well, who in their mama is a witness to this thing? Okay. Okay, hold up. Let me see, because I did have a list of witnesses, actually. Let's see. And this is actually being reported by mainstream too. Is this it? Okay. Which, Kadisha, I think you were right. Wherever you heard Suge Knight, I've heard different sources say the different things, and they're all like news sources. So there's that. I mean, I don't think anybody's lying. So Marion Suge Knight mentioned above, Suge Knight, who's 61, was injured in the same shooting that killed Tupac. The witness document lists his address at the California Department of Corrections. Are they going to fly him over? He is currently serving 28 years for manslaughter. So he's been pointed as a witness. Now, is he going to say anything? I don't know. Oscar Goodman, who is 87 years old, was the mayor. There's the mayor of Las Vegas from 1999 to 2011. Prior to serving as a mayor, Goodman worked as a defense attorney, often representing defendants accused of organized crime. His son, Ross Goodman, also an attorney, previously appeared in court alongside Davis, but was not officially retained for the case. Interesting. Who else? Governor Joe Lombardo, Republican Governor Joe Lombardo, became an officer with the Las Vegas Metropolitan Police Department in 1988, 8 years before the fatal shooting of Shakur. He was the sheriff of the department from 2015 to 2023. Davis was arrested shortly after Lombardo transitioned to being a governor. Reggie Wright Jr., we already heard him earlier. Apparently he is, of course, for those that don't know, he is the former head of security for Death Row. Davis said that Wright was the man who organized the hit on Tupac. Reggie Wright Sr., again, we saw his name. Sr. is also listed on the list of witnesses. Members of the Shakur family, several members of the Shakur family are set to testify, including Tupac's sister, Mopreem, shout out to Mopreem Shakur as well, Tupac's stepbrother, Katari Cox and cousins. So there's going to be a lot of family, a Shakur family there. And there's going to be several documentarians that are listed, documented as witnesses. So basically all these people that have made documentaries about Tupac, and because, oh my God, I can't, when has there not been, I feel like every 3 years, every 2 years, there's a new documentary out there that supposedly is supposed to expose something that we did not know, but it's like regurgitated information that we already know about the murder of Tupac or Biggie. And it's all some of this is like, is this even real? Like, are we speculating now what had happened? So you have Richard Bond, Mario Diaz, Mike Dorsey, and then you have also additional names mentioning documents. Shout out to Kadisha Lynn and Kirk Burroughs. Okay. Founder, even though they call him founder of Bad Boy Records here, Clemens, Paula Clemens, Davis's wife, Gene Deal, Diddy's bodyguard, former bodyguard, okay, and also the co-author of Keffe D's book as well, Leonard Jefferson, who took photos of Tupac and Suge in the car minutes before the shooting. So that photo of Tupac sitting in the car, I think I have it on the thumbnail, with Suge Knight. I guess that guy took the photo before they drove off. More people have been mentioned as well. Who else? Trevon Lane, who was involved in the brawl with Tupac at the MGM. Remember that big fight? And this was like after the Mike Tyson boxing match. Let's see. Who else? I think that's it that I have. Also mentioned Frank Alexander, Tupac's bodyguard, the night of the shooting. So he died in 2013. So why is he's met? So it's interesting because some of these witnesses are mentioned and some of them, they're like, they've already passed, like deceased. So it's like, I guess, did they recently pass? I don't think so. They were already deceased. I don't know. You remember that fight? Yeah. I mean, the video's out there. I'm so confused because Gene is saying he's never gotten one. Maybe he's mentioned in the documents. He just hasn't been served. Maybe. All right. So let me go ahead, y'all. I did alter again. This is the book. We're gonna give commentary to it. Hopefully we'll finish it tonight. I think I was able to condense it. I didn't put every chapter. No, it's not every chapter in there. We're not going to do that. But it's a good 2 hours and some minutes. So what I did was I altered the language in the book, specifically removing the N-word. So that's been altered. I was able to remove it using AI. And then as well as I have to add music to it because we're not trying to, commentary, and we're not trying to trigger any bots. So we're not trying to get taken down. But of course, we're going to give commentary to this. We're not just taking it outright. But as you are listening, and I'm kind of curious, how many of you guys have heard of this book? Compton Street Legends. Let me see if I can take a little poll. And guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments. I did put the link up if there's commentary that you want to give. Maybe there's an area you want me to stop and then you want to talk a little bit about it. Maybe you got some knowledge because look, I'm definitely not the end all be all of any of this. There's a lot more people out here who are more schooled and educated in this arena than I am. I'm literally just amazed by the fact that here we are 30 years later and we're solved the crime, but it still doesn't feel right though. It still feels like we didn't really solve it, but apparently we did. I don't know. Maybe because the other people are gone. I'm not really sure. Let me see. Have you read Compton? Nope. Hold up, y'all. Trying to get everything settled. Where did you go? Here it is. So if they're using this book, essentially when he self-discloses that he's a gang member or something like that, or he was, or he is. I don't know how he identifies now. I don't know. Have you read Compton Street Legends? That should be the first question. Yes or no? Yes. No. And then we'll ask later if you feel like this is like a confessional for Keffe D. You guys are allowed to vote. You put a 1 in the chat if yes, put a 2 in the chat if no. Kind of curious to know what we have going on here in the chat. Something coming huge. You said, okay, it would be truly solved until they had everyone involved, right? You said the doc was super eye-opening. I just think that, I don't know about Craig Kading. I'm just saying. A lot of people have questions and maybe answers about this, but you don't open the lines for dialogue. But you don't open the lines for dialogue. Okay, well, damn, tell me how you really feel. You want to write me a complaint or something? Let me know. Put in the chat. Thank you. That's why I said the link is in the chat. Y'all did hear me say that the link was in the chat, right? Did I just make that up? Maybe I could have. Maybe I need to rewind. Didn't I say the link is in the chat if you have some commentary or thoughts about this? And your commenting, let me know. You said putting it on Reggie would push the death row narrative. Y'all heard me. Okay, thank you. I'm like, maybe, I don't know. Maybe some people are hard of hearing. I don't know, which is fine. You know, if you are, that's fine. But just, geez, calm down. Lord have mercy. It's only Tuesday. I popped up. I swear to Pika, you see the link? Okay, my ADHD won't let me remember. Okay, I'm just saying, like, Lord have mercy, calm down. All right.
Many people will pick up this book for its celebrity value. It's true that my gangster lifestyle has led me to cross paths with some of the biggest names in the history of hip-hop. Tupac Shakur, Christopher, Notorious B.I.G. Wallace, Sean Puffy Combs, and Marion Suge Knight, resulting in a massive collision with fatal consequences. I mourn, like millions of others, the loss of 2 hip-hop giants, Tupac and Biggie, and the impact their losses had on their families and fans. My reality, however, doesn't allow me to give a fuck about the celebrity aspect of this story. Never have and never will. What I do care genuinely about and hold in high esteem are the values of love, family, unity, brotherhood, loyalty, trust, and honor. That is what this story is about. It's been more than 20 years since the premature, yet understandable deaths of Tupac and Biggie occurred. Premature because as talented and influential as both men were, they were killed long before either of them had a chance to reach their full potential. Understandable because in the streets, and I've lived a gangster lifestyle for most of my life, there's a strict code that real live, kill, and die by. Tupac's and Biggie's deaths were direct results of that code violation and the explosive consequences when the powerful worlds of streets, entertainment, and crooked-ass law enforcement collide. In the past couple of years, there have been several TV specials, documentaries, newspaper and magazine articles, and numerous websites dedicated to the subject of who killed Biggie and Tupac. But at the end of the day, none of the private investigators, retired police officers, informants, hip-hop heads, actors, or academics who have weighed in on the topic know what happened and the reasons behind it. None of them were there.
Let's stop right here, right? So again, this is Keffe D's book, okay? And he's saying right here, and this is the book that he said, I just wrote this for entertainment purposes and you just wanted to make money. It's not a real confessional. Nothing in this book should be taken as factual, right? But it's like, well, then what do you make of this? Because you're saying that nobody really knows. There's a lot of people that give commentary about what happened. And now this book was released, 2019? So we're not talking about 10 years ago. Like there's that. Right? You said, wait, he told Greg Kading the same thing in 2009. See, I may not like Greg Kading. I don't. Trust me. But it's like, if you're saying this, and this is your intro, well, and you were there, and again, now he's saying, no, I was never, Diddy never contacted me to put a hit on anybody or anything like that. Okay, so which one is it, y'all? You said that's why he's been playing too long. It was like, so you were okay profiting off of a death that, like, you didn't commit? You didn't have no hand in? Okay.
I'm one of the only living eyewitnesses to Tupac's killing, who also knows the much larger story around the reasons that both Tupac and Biggie were killed. I was considered a prime suspect in both the Biggie and Tupac killings for years. I know the real fucking story. I admittedly lived most of my life as a gangster, a real gangster that did all the shit that real gangsters do.
He doesn't want that admitted. Because guess what? What are his charges? Let's see. I'm pretty sure it's like something murder for the commission of a crime to a gang or something like that. Hold up. I want to get the exact verbiage because I don't want to make it up. Charge. Just make sure I get the exact. He doesn't want that. He don't want that. No. One count of first-degree murder with the use of a deadly weapon in Las Vegas. Okay, for allegedly orchestrating the 1996 drive-by shooting death of Tupac Shakur. Now, there is something in there. Let me see. What is the part of the charge that says for a gang or with a gang, something like that? There's a narrative in the charge that says that falls under that. I know conspiracy is one of them. So here it is. And it includes a criminal gang enhancement, a sentencing penalty applied to the first-degree murder charge, indicating that the crime was linked to gang activity. Okay, so that's why he doesn't want this book out. Prosecutors, or doesn't want the jury this to be used as evidence. Prosecutors argue that the 1996 killing was retaliation for a fight, and this enhancement could add significant mandatory prison time if he is convicted. For more details, check out the news. That's what it's telling me. There you go. He doesn't want that. Okay, let's keep going.
Not the bullshit you see in this generation with everybody faking with all this IG shit. So I'm not trying to paint myself as a fucking saint. I am well aware that I'm a walking miracle. And I thank my Lord for his love, mercy, and grace. I could very easily be sitting in a federal penitentiary in Terre Haute or Marion, shackled with the death penalty, waiting in misery for my name and number to be called. Instead, I finally get the opportunity to tell my side of the story. This process has been therapeutic for me because I've been carrying this shit with me for all of these years. People out there who play dirty are putting salt on my name, character, and reputation. Yet I am the only one looking dirty in this shit. People judge and develop opinions based on the bullshit they've heard about me without knowing the full story. They don't know what I was up against. The FBI did me like they did to John Gotti, and they're trying to do Donald Trump. They flipped all the bottom feeders underneath me, then came and got me. But when the police that were involved with this case tell their stories, they protect everybody else's identities except mine. The most challenging part about telling this story is that some of the guys who ended up betraying me were the closest friends I had on earth.
Isn't that the moral of the story? Isn't that how it goes, though? Like, I cannot remember. I mean, it's always like that. The people that are closest to you are the ones that end up betraying you when it's a gang situation. It's always like that, right? Yeah, because he wrote this in 2019, right? So he's got a lot of opinions. This book is not very gangster. He wanted to tell his side of the story, right? And he's been paid very well to do so. But the thing is like, well, either you had a hand in this or you didn't. Now, to be fair, I did skip a lot of chapters because I do not care about I really just want to get to, I let the intro be, and then we went all the way to 6 or 7 because I wanted to hear how he connected with Diddy, right? And then how he connected with everybody else. So yeah. So to be fair, there's going to be some parts that are going to be missing here.
In fact, some were even members of my own family. I tell my story with utmost confidence because, as Winston Churchill once said, the truth is incontrovertible. Malice may attack it, ignorance may deride it, but in the end, there it is. I'm a good person who the truth will reveal. Saved a lot of lives and helped a lot of people. I helped Suge. He knows I helped him get on his feet and get death row going from my hard-earned street shit. Then he turned around and tried to disrespect the game. I helped Puffy. He knows I was there for him when he needed help. There's no fucking way he can deny it. He's going to shiver in his boots if he ever sees me. I have a whole gang of dudes from my hood and from Grape Street that can verify and confirm our dealings. I'm not going to say their names until and unless it's time to mention their names. I want to make one more point super clear. I've seen the little shit some of these punk-ass rappers, boxers, and other wannabe tough celebrities have written on the internet talking about their gangsters for Tupac. I want to make it clear that while I've made a lot of changes in my life and heart, I'm not one to play with. You can go up against these streets if you want to, but I guarantee you, you won't win.
Oh,
it's time for me to set the story straight.
Now, let me just say this. That is quite the way to open up a book. Start by threatening people. Start by threatening the readers. I'm like, damn. All right then, Linda. Okay. Don't play with it. That's what he said. He said, I'm like, see, here's the deal. This is why I love, like, I have to listen on audio. I can't listen. Can you imagine? I can't do this kind of voice in my mind, reading all these threats. You know, he's talking. The ghostwriter is typing all that stuff in there. I'm like, oh my God, Lord have mercy. Before I get arrested, does he stand on this, or was it all for entertainment purposes? He should have put a disclaimer on it. Like in the beginning, this is all for entertainment purposes. That's what he should have done. And then it skips over several chapters just so the people are aware.
Gangbanging is male love pushed to its limits. As insane as it may seem, it's all based on love. There's a lot of qualities that these young brothers that you may look down upon have that you don't have.
Wait, he said gangbanging is all based on male love? Male love? Gangbanging is all based on male love. That's what he just said. All right.
Somebody could come in your house and kill your wife and your children, and you wouldn't do shit. You'd sit on your ass. These brothers aren't having that. To the layman, it will look like it's a world based on hate, but it's not. It's based on love. Ice-T, Uprising, Crips and Bloods. Foreshock. Fuck that, the game. I am an invisible man. I'm invisible, understand, simply because people refuse to see me. They see only my surroundings, themselves, or figments of their imagination. Indeed, everything and anything except me. Ralph Ellison's Invisible Man.
Okay.
Invisible, not me. Fuck that noise. My destiny was to be seen, heard, and felt. I can honestly say I've accomplished my mission, and I'm still not done. Invisibility simply has never been in my DNA. In the street game, you can do 3 things by the age of 25. You can step the game up and become a gangster by making serious money and owning homes and businesses, become a grown man and get your ass a job, or continue gangbanging, taking the risk of going back and forth to state prison and ending up in the grave.
Ooh.
I chose the first, and with the help of a few trusted advisors, I took my street game to new heights. In my Southside Crip neighborhood, I was known by several names. Big Dog, Big Homie, some called me Gotti, but most knew me as Keffe D.
Okay, so they're right there. He just admitted, he's just admitted a gang affiliation there. How he grew up, what he was known as, all the names that he was known as. Like, yeah.
In terms of rank, if we were an army, I was a 5-star general. If we were a city, I was the mayor. If we were a country, I was President Obama. As Big Homie, I gave folks in my neighborhood jobs and an opportunity to earn money. I'm not talking about small amounts of money either. Folks earned enough to feed their families. They all had a couple of nice cars, trucks, and lowriders. We even started a lowrider club and a hydraulic company for lowriders. Just like in any other type of economy, everybody had a role to play. Like any good leader of an organization, I had my board of directors, the older, trusted, right-hand men that would advise me. I had one older gentleman named RC, who was super rich. He was 72 years old when he married his broad that was 28 years old. One day, RC came to me and said, I'm going through this divorce and all my shit is tied up. I need some bread. I need to borrow $70,000 from you, if that's cool. No problem, dog. Get at me later on tonight, up by my spot. RC showed up and I hit him with the $70,000. I'll pay you back in a few months. Honestly, I had forgotten about the money. Then about 6 months later, RC showed up and said, I sincerely appreciate everything you did for me. Come, let's go for a ride. He took me and signed 6 pieces of property over to me. 2 of them were triplexes and the other 4 were duplexes. All of them he owned free and clear. All I had to do was pay the yearly property taxes on them. Soon after that, he moved to Houston, Texas, and 2 years later, he suffered a massive heart attack at a Hardee's restaurant and passed away. After he died, his daughter sued me for the houses, and the courts took the houses from me. Chief among my advisors, my beloved friend and partner, FL. He was a real, high-level, white-collar hustler, about 10 years older than me. FL and I first met when I was a little kid, and he was kicking it with one of my homegirls. FL used to come through the neighborhood to visit her in a brand new, pussy pink 76 Cadillac Seville. That bitch was pretty as a motherfucker. I'll never forget the day FL jumped into his girlfriend's car to run errands with her and left me the keys to his new ride so I could go to football practice. At 12 years old, I showed up to Pop Warner football practice driving a brand new Seville. Suge Knight's daddy, we called him Big Suge, was like, damn, where you get that from? I had a smile on my face a mile wide. FL was my dog for a long time.
You know what is so crazy is that he talks about the closeness that he had with Suge Knight. And yet, he was out there to get, you know, basically meet up Suge Knight or, you know, both. I just thought it was interesting. I'm like, okay, so you guys actually grew up together. It's like, ooh, okay. You said, well, you forgot some of the words. Yeah, some of these words are, well, I listened. The N word was the most one that I wanted to get out of there because it was too much. Yeah, the way he describes the color of the car. Yeah, definitely. Okay.
Long time. He's the one that hooked me up with my Colombian cocaine connection. Boss Man was my first plug before I established a direct relationship with my Colombian plug. Boss Man's aunt and his cousins are from my neighborhood, and his first cousin is my first cousin. Our two families go all the way back to Texas in the 1930s. My aunt has babies by his uncle, so we're practically cousins. He's a year older than me. The two of us played together since we were 3 or 4 years old. Boss Man was the first significant supplier that allowed me to get on the map. He would give me 20 kilos a week. In 1989, when I got out of Tracy for my first stint in the pen, Boss Man rolled up. Hey, dog, glad to see you home. I don't have any work for you right now, but don't trip. I got you. He handed me a bag that contained $10,000 in cash.
Damn.
About 3 weeks later, I was at C. Ray's house, and Boss Man pulled up wearing a suit in a brand new Mercedes-Benz. Hey, dog, come here. I walked up to his ride. I have some rims in the backyard I need you to wash for me. I went to his auntie's backyard to wash the rims. Just as I was about to start, he came to the backyard and said, put them out to the front and wash them out there. I'm not sure why he wanted me to wash the rims out front, but it didn't bother me any. While I was washing the rims, one of the homies shouted, I know that ain't Keffe D down there washing no motherfucking rims. Before I could yell back, a gray pickup truck pulled up in front of the house. Boss Man came out of the house and greeted the driver. Then he turned to me and said, hey, dog, throw those rims on the back of this truck. I lifted the rims and placed them on the back of the truck. Boss Man came to the back of the truck and explained, we're big out here now, dog. We got some new shit called blow up. That's when you cut the cocaine to make 2 kilos out of 1. And birds don't cost $70,000 anymore. They're down to $14,000. I couldn't believe what he was telling me. Continue. You see that brown bag in the back of the truck? Grab that. It's yours. Call me when you finish. I opened the bag and there were 3 kilos inside. In the early 80s, the Peruvians and Belizeans were sending most of the dope to the United States. Once the Colombians took over the drug business, the price of cocaine went down to $14,000 a kilo.
Wow.
All with new information.
I mean, some of this is like, historic, deep, for sure. Thank you. Yeah, there might have been one that might have like, you know, because I try to remove all of them, but if I miss one, then I apologize. I do. But it was my intent to remove them all. Hey, Suits and Stilettos, how are you? It's all about the money. Yeah, for sure. Sorry, I'm late, starting from the beginning. Thank you. Shout out to y'all. I mean, this is a lot. He's talking about, I guess, his life and everything that he's been through.
In the 3 kilos Boss Man gave me, I started rolling all over again. I called my boy C. Ray, who was staying in Birmingham, Alabama at the time, and let him know I was back in business. Send me a half a kilo out here, dog, he requested. I sent him the half kilo. A few days later, when I tried calling him, then stopped answering my calls. I knew this chick named Felicia who was from Alabama, so I asked her to take a trip out there with me. We flew to Alabama and called him from a local Alabama number and then answered the phone on the first ring. I'm at the airport, come and get me. C-Ray came to pick me up, but they didn't have any gas in the car. We were riding on fumes. He appeared to me like he was smoked out. C-Ray, man, you're tripping. We rented a 3-story house with a pool in the backyard and a basement for $250 per month to set up shop. In places like Alabama, a cellar is mandatory because the tornadoes will wipe your ass out. Back then, that same house in LA would have cost at least $2,000 per month. I took my kilos down to Birmingham when we were selling 9 ounces for $12,000. I took 1 kilo and turned it into 3, then turned 3 into 9, then turned the 9 into 18 kilos. We were out there in Alabama balling for about a year and a half. One day, when I was back in Compton, Boss Man pulled up to one of my spots. Hey, dog, I need you to cook some water for me. Cooking PCP is a skill a minimal number of people have. It's super dangerous, and if you don't know what you're doing, it can explode like dynamite. It's a skill I learned during my stay in Watts after my mother.
And by the way, even in this book, he talks about how he and his family were like the best at cooking some of these rugs and stuff like that. So yeah, it's very, he's divulging a lot. And I don't know if it's like, are we saying that this is the artistic side of things?
My mother passed away. I stayed in the Jordan Downs projects with some family members for about 1.5 years and returned to Compton with a lot of game. Specifically, I learned how to cook up PCP. People on the East Coast don't know how to cook PCP. Cooking PCP is one of those ancient hood secrets that only from Compton and Watts know how to do. I went over to Boss Man's location and cooked some PCP for him. He gave me an ounce when I was done. I started rolling again, opened up 3 or 4 crack houses, and Boss Man started giving me 100 grams every day for 7,000. I was rolling like a motherfucker. About 3 weeks after that, Boss Man got locked up in the summer of 1990. Not long after Boss Man got taken down, I met my Colombian plug and started dancing with the devil. Dancing with the devil. My rise to new heights in the drug game was the result of the fortuitous meeting with my new Colombian supplier, JC. In an ironic twist, despite JC's initials, I used to refer to him as the devil, but not because he was so deep in the drug game. JC was the devil because I never saw him lose at gambling. He and I both enjoyed games of chance. I'd take 25,000 from the first 5 kilos I'd sell, then head to the casinos with JC to have some fun. We would fly to Vegas at 10 o'clock tonight and stay there until 6 o'clock the next morning. Without fail, he'd win. He'd earn 70,000 in one spot, then we would go to the Normandy Club where he'd win another 140,000. I'd be in the casinos getting murdered, while this guy would have chips damn near sky high. Man, you're a fucking devil, I jokingly say to him. Not once did I see him lose at the table. Not once. It's like the laws of attraction were working for his ass. Since he already had a lot of money, more money seemed to be attracted to him. Over time, I learned that JC had millions. He owned a whole block of apartment buildings on both sides of the street in Inglewood. The way JC and I met, me and my boy FL was riding around as I was looking to count 15 kilos. Since Boss Man was locked up for more than 6 months, I didn't have a reliable supplier. So I would have to go to one spot to get 5 kilos, go to another place to get 3 kilos, and another spot to get the rest. After the second stop, FL asked, "Man, you need a plug?" He didn't look at me when he asked the question, probably because he was disappointed in how inefficiently I was conducting my business. Hell yeah. Excitement and surprise both present in my voice because I knew FL was a player with high-powered connections. But I also knew that the drug game was not his area. I'm going to introduce you to one of my Colombian partners. Since FL didn't sell drugs, I don't know what business they had together, but that was none of my business. FL stepped out of the ragtop Corvette we were in and placed a quick phone call. When he got back in the car, he had a smile on his face like his mission was accomplished. Turn right up here at the light, then make a left on Lakewood, FL instructed me. Pull in this parking lot. Let's grab something to eat. We pulled into the Denny's parking lot on Lakewood Boulevard, right off the 91 freeway. My partner's gonna meet us up here in a few. As we were placing our order, I saw a gray Plymouth Acclaim pull in right next to my Corvette. The driver was light-skinned, with blonde hair, and looked like he was in his early 20s. He wore a Boston Celtics jersey and some shades. He looked like a regular white boy, but once we met, he acted like, deep down inside, he wanted to be a brother. FL had already told me that he was Colombian. The Colombian walked up to our booth and hugged FL. Then FL introduced us. JC, this is my partner, Keffe D. I stood and we shook hands. Keffe D, meet JC. JC joined us in the booth. He was originally from Medellin, the same place as Pablo Escobar and the cocaine godmother for Celso Blanco. Being the avid Lakers fan that I am, I immediately went in on the Celtics jersey he was wearing. Man, don't you know this is Lakersville? You sure got some balls. He already knew where I was going, so he covered his mouth as he started to laugh. Before I could finish, he shot back. 16 titles, check the record books. That's all I have to say, with a smug smile on his face. His English was excellent. The conversation and vibe went smooth. And from his friendly demeanor, I knew I had a new plug. We continued to converse about sports while eating our food. As usual, FL withdrew from the conversation once it turned to sports, since sports wasn't his thing. As JC prepared to leave, FL ended the meeting with one final emphatic statement. This guy right here, he looked JC in his eyes, put his arm around my shoulder, and said, "He's the real deal. They don't get no realer." JC nodded in acknowledgement. As we began walking back to the car, I asked FL, "That's your plug? Dude is connected?" FL waited until we reached the car. "Yeah, he's real strong." As if he were an oracle, he continued, "Just make sure that you take care of me when you blow up." Blowing up is what happened, and taking care of FL is what I did. I made sure FL shit was right every month. Whatever he needed, I broke him off. FL got busted and served about a year right after he made the connection, but when he got out, I broke him off real proper. JC didn't have any immediate action at the time we met, so I had to continue with my original plans of buying kilos from various people to keep my money flowing. A few weeks after meeting JC, I went and bought 15 kilos from one of my suppliers for $22,500 per kilo. One of my drivers had the kilos in the car in front of me, and I stayed on his bumper to make sure he didn't get pulled over. We caught a red light at the intersection of Alondra and Long Beach Boulevard. While we were sitting at the light, JC pulled up next to me. Keffe D, what's up? I've been looking for you. Well, you found me. What's up? He motioned for me to pull over to the side of the road. I told my driver to keep going to the stash house and put the load away. JC leaned his head into the ride and said, "It's on." "Oh, yeah? Follow me over to my dad's house." Once we arrived, he let me know. "Big dog, I have kilos for 17,000 right now." My eyes widened. "You bullshitting. I just bought 15 kilos for 22.5 from my guy." I did some quick mental math and calculated how much more I would make fucking with the Colombians. "I'm gonna take this shit back." No, come roll with me real quick. Get somebody to ride with us." He didn't have to ask me twice. I got in touch with my brother, Little Dog. "I need you over here with the quickness." Little Dog jumped into a Maxima, swooped me up, and we followed JC to a one-bedroom apartment. It was 15 minutes away in Hilltop. JC unlocked the door, and we followed him into a practically empty apartment. He motioned for us to follow him into the kitchen. Once we got there, he started to open up all the cabinets. Each cabinet was filled with taped U-Haul boxes. "All of them are yours." My brother and I were stunned as we stood staring at each other. Silence filled the kitchen. "What?" I acted like I didn't hear him. "All of them are yours. Try to have the money within a month." There were 148 birds inside the cabinets.
Damn.
I used about 20 to 25 kilos at a time. JC hit me off with 148 birds on consignment like it was nothing. The shit blew my mind, because things like that don't happen every day. At 17,000 a piece, that amounted to a little over 2.5 million. No problem. My mind was racing on how I was going to distribute the shit. But my thoughts crashed back down to the ground. I thought about the $337,500 I had just spent for 15 kilos at 22.5 per kilo for my own neck. My brother and I.
Well, this is what I understand, is that the feds had been watching him for quite some time, right? And you know what the feds does? They'll let you commit all the crimes that you want until they're ready to get you. And I think that's what happened, is ultimately it just kind of accumulated. But all this stuff, I mean, it reminds me a lot of what's his name? Freeway Rick, and all of it just amounts until they can actually drop the charges on you. So to me, it's like, yeah, you did all this, and he did go to prison before he was having issues way before the book was even released. But I think one thing that we have to know about the feds is that they allow you to do whatever. They'll just build a case on you. They are not going to go after you until they have a solid case, and they'll just build a case on you. That's all. They'll let you do all the shit. They'll give you free reign, and then they'll come for you.
Mm-hmm. And I began filling the trunk of the Maxima with the birds, and quickly realized there wasn't going to be enough room. So we put the last 2 boxes in the back seat of the car and took off. I got a hold of another one of my brothers who was out in Alabama with my partner C-Ray. "Come on home, it's on." Before he could finish the question, "Just come on home. I'll tell you when you get here." They came home the next day. It was time to get out of Alabama anyway. Those Alabamans were starting to get jealous of us being out there. We were some big city, pretty boys with money in our pockets and smelled better than them country asses. So, naturally, their women were throwing plenty of action our way. Aside from the jealousy, there was also racial shit still going on out there that would have led to me catching the case. One night, I stopped at a liquor store in Birmingham to buy me some Cristal Rolls and Don Rolls. "Hey, can you give me 2 bottles of that and 2 bottles of that?" As I pointed to the bottles I was interested in buying. The white guy behind the counter was like, "Hey, boy, can you afford these bottles?" I couldn't believe my ears. "What? Who the fuck are you talking to? You see a boy? Suck his dick." The who was in the store with us from Alabama got scared and intervened. "No, he doesn't mean that, sir." "Yes, the fuck I do. Fuck you, cracker." My guys pulled me back out of the store. When we got outside in the parking lot, the Alabama's like, "Man, they'll kill you down here. They'll hang you by." I cut that scary bullshit off. I'll blow that motherfucking dude's dome on.
Lord have mercy.
We don't play that boy shit, homie. Our time in Alabama was over. We relocated out of Alabama near the end of '91 and started hitting other cities where we already had folks. We hit up Little Rock, Arkansas, Wichita, Kansas, Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, Atlanta, Georgia, Cleveland and Columbus, Ohio, and Baltimore, Maryland. Every spot we hit out of town, we made new Crip members.
Here I was worried about the N-word. I should have censored the whole thing. I mean, it would have been the whole book. My God. Oh my God. Lord have mercy.
Southsiders to be exact.
Oh man.
Our growth plan was simple. Move into places where we already had kinfolk or people we knew. They were doing light work, 5 kilos or something, and we made them an offer they couldn't refuse. You want to make some real money? We'd hit them with 50 kilos and make them the man. Here go 50. Give me 25,000 for each one. They'd sell them for $30,000, netting $5,000 each off of 50 kilos. That's a quick $250,000 for them, and I was still getting my bread. We always made sure to go through established people who were already in those areas. We were never stupid enough to attempt to take over other people's turf, start gang wars, or risk ourselves like that. My crew was not crazy, and I made sure we didn't do any stupid shit under my leadership. We knew better than to put ourselves out there on Front Street, because the local guys would get jealous, especially if they started having sex with the girls. I didn't mix business with pleasure. I kept my shit in my pants. A large percentage of guys in prison today are in there behind a woman. One of my mentors once told me, you can't let little head lead big head. You let little head lead big head, and you're gonna be in a world of trouble. You'll end up in prison or the ground. At my height, I was moving 200 kilos a month out of town and another 100 kilos a week in the Los Angeles area. I maxed out at 700 to 800 kilos a month, pulling in a cool 4.2 million monthly. I was able to thrive in the game for a while because there was a difference between the crew I put together and those that came before me. The main difference was that the team that I assembled were cold-blooded, off of their fucking rockers. My crew consisted of my nephew's homies, my little homies, and they were willing to do and did whatever needed to be done. Moving that much weight within the state of California and to other states without shipments getting busted was no easy task. It required a good deal of ingenuity. Back in the day, I used to get mad when rappers like Ice Cube would say lines like, St. Louis want their corners back. That was a line from the song My Summer Vacation from his 1991 Death Certificate album. To me, all Ice Cube was doing was snitching. He wasn't sending any word to St. Louis. I was the one sending word to St. Louis. Then Jeezy had a song where he said, the bigger the rim, the bigger the bird. We used to put birds in rims. I would be mad at some of those rappers, especially the ones who weren't in the game like that. I wish they would stick to recording because they were messing up the dope game and giving law enforcement inside information. To stay ahead of law enforcement, we regularly had to change our methods for transporting product and money. We used to mail chickens and cash through the mail, but we started having too many problems. One day, I lost $350,000 via the United States Postal Service.
350,000 via the United. He lost. All that was drug money. What had happened? Somebody went on vacation. They were working at the post office and they stumbled upon the money that said, I'm going on vacation. I'm never coming back. Oh my gosh. Lord have mercy.
The post office general and the FBI delivered the package to my wife's relative. And when she signed for the package, they raided her house. If you want to keep your ass out of jail for a very long time, you better call the person that this package belongs to. And the FBI agent told my wife's relative, I told you it ain't mine, the relative said. We heard you the first time. Now get the person on the phone that it belongs to. Tell them their package has arrived, the FBI agent warned. The relative called my wife Paula and said, your man's package just got here. Okay, I'll be right over, Paula replied. Instead of calling me, Paula went over there to pick up the package. Wrong move. Paula and I have been together for nearly 30 years, and we've been married for almost 13 of them. That lady is a straight rider who keeps me laughing because she's crazy, fun, and has been by my side through the good times and the bad. Nowadays, she thinks she's Keffe D and sold all them kilos of cocaine. When I got to my house looking for my wife, they told me she had already left to go pick up a package for me. If she had talked to me before going, I would have advised her not to fuck with the package because there were too many red flags. I knew something was wrong because the box was scheduled for overnight delivery, but arrived 2 weeks late. Something was wrong, but she didn't call me before she went over there. About 45 minutes later, my wife's relative called me. Your thing here.
Okay. No shit, Sherlock. A package that has $350,000, okay? You're asking for overnight delivery and it doesn't get there until 2 weeks later. I mean, it doesn't take a drug dealer to figure that out in the mail out of all places. Not through Amazon. Not like if my package, if I send it overnight and it arrives 2 weeks later, I wonder what could have been happening here. And then I'm getting people trying to tag me to this package. Yeah, no, clearly the feds have the package.
The house they lived in sat off the main road. So instead of making a turn, I kept straight up the road. Sure enough, by the time I got to my wife's car, the feds had the front hood, the trunk, and all the doors of her car open. This time, Paula called. But before she could say a word, I said, I see what's going on over there. Ain't no sense in calling me with that bullshit. Yeah, you're right, was all she could say. They ended up letting her go since it was just money. That was the first of the vast sums of money I lost using the mail. So we devised a better plan. My boy FL, once again, was instrumental as he came through and hooked me up with a lawyer who gave me some invaluable information. The lawyer's name was Jerry, and he suggested we rent vans to transport. But he stressed that whoever drove the van to make sure they didn't have their fingerprints on the birds. He advised us to take the panels out of the van and tape the packages to the walls. Then put the panels and covering back up. If the van got pulled over, we could always say it was the people who rented the van before us. He was confident he could get any of my guys out as long as their fingerprints. She signed for the package. One van rated about 100 kilos. For a while, we had a lot of success transporting using that method. I found out that JC wasn't the devil when the FBI took him down in 1992. He got busted with 350 kilos dealing with little Tommy from Inglewood. Not long after he got busted, his little brother hit me up. My brother got busted, but you want to continue working? I have been wondering what had happened to JC because he hadn't been answering his phone. Without hesitation, I answered, hell yeah. All right, we'll get you a driver. I called my boy Uchi to come and get me with his Hyundai. We followed the new plug to a hotel room in LA.
Oh, man.
Somebody bring us 50 kilos to the hotel that we loaded.
Not the Hyundai.
Into the Hyundai. On the way home, I had a heart-to-heart with Uchi, who was one of my closest friends. You and me gonna roll off for this. Stick with me every day. I want you to be my right-hand man. Uchi didn't say anything. He just nodded his head, so I thought he agreed with what I was saying. Both C-Ray and my brother Little Dog were out of town, so I shot C-Ray 30 birds and Little Dog 15 birds in vans. One of my homies named Bubble Up said, give me a chicken so I can go to Seattle, Washington. I was like, here, dog. Then Uchi said, give me a half a kilo and let me go up there with Bubble Up. I suggested, you should stay here with me. He protested. I want to run my own show. Just give me half a kilo and let me go up there with Bubble Up. I'll never understand why he didn't say, give me the other 4 and let me go with Bubble Up. I had just told him he was going to be my right-hand man. I would have given them to him since we were that close. Instead, I did as he requested, gave him the half a chicken. My brother Little Dog and C-Ray both came back from out of town within a week with their money. My plug gave me another 100 kilos, so I gave both of them 50 kilos more. They went back to where they were stationed, and they came back and reloaded again before Uchi and Bubble Up came back from Seattle with the money from the chicken and a half.
Yep.
About 3 weeks later, Uchi and Bubble Up returned.
Bubble Up is the other individual in the car when Tupac was shot. So I was like, who's that? This is the other name, just so you guys are aware.
From Seattle. Bubble Up said, here's 10,000 of your money. I'm going to give you 4,000 more. This dude is going to send me the money. All right, cool. I turned to Uchi. Where my money at? He said, I'm going to give you 4,500, but I'm going to take this other 4,500 and flip it and give you your money later. The businessman side of me took over. Uchi, give me my money. I got you, dog. Just give me my money. He was like, nah, I'm going to flip this. I said, man, give me my money. I was giving him a chance to do the right thing. He didn't know I already had another 100 kilos at the stash house and was ready to break him off for more, but they wouldn't budge. Completely frustrated, I said, all right, then, keep that. You can go ahead and keep that. I threw a big meeting with my crew and told everybody at the meeting not to mess with Uchi. He's going to be isolated. He just sold himself out for 4,500. I couldn't believe he did that. He started rolling big time, and he was left out Louis. About 3 months passed, and I was at a nightclub with my wife, drinking, looking fly, and this lady was flirting with me. I had to turn off because she was still looking at me, and my wife doesn't play that shit. Finally, the lady built up enough courage to come up to me and say, I know you. I was quick to respond, you don't know me. You Uchi's homeboy. I'm supposed to go out there tomorrow to see him. Where is he? Out there in Cleveland. And you going out there tomorrow? C-Ray was in Cleveland, so I immediately got on my phone and asked him, man, is Uchi out there with you? No, you need to be checking with your brother. I called my brother. Hey, cuz, you got Uchi out there with you? Yeah, I got him out here. I was bored. Disgusted, I said, you're always fucking with the rules, dude. He was supposed to be isolated. I told everybody to put him on punishment to teach him a lesson. As inconsequential as those violations may seem, when I look back at things, they were 2 of the first chinks in the armor that I didn't pay too much attention to. But in hindsight, I definitely should have. I helped Puffy, Bad Boys, me to Sean Puff. My connection to the New York music scene came through one of my East Coast clients, Eric Von Zip Martin.
Here you go.
Just called him Zip.
That's it. That's a name to remember. Okay. So this is where he starts. All right. I did play a portion in here because I felt like it'd give you a little background into Keffe D and his lifestyle and everything, right? This isn't he's not a musician. He's literally just somebody who was running a, drug empire, street empire situationship. And so now you have the clash of the music and how he meets Puff Diddy. Okay. Here we go. Hold up. Let me go back a little bit.
You Uchi's homeboy. I'm supposed to go out there tomorrow to see him. Where is he? Out there in Cleveland. Are you going out there tomorrow? C-Ray was in Cleveland, so I immediately got on my phone and asked him, man, is Uchi out there with you? No, you need to be checking with your brother. I called my brother. Hey, cuz, you got Uchi out there with you? Yeah, I got him out here. I was bored. Disgusted, I said. You're always fucking with the rules, dude. He was supposed to be isolated. I told everybody to put him on punishment to teach him a lesson. As inconsequential as those violations may seem, when I look back at things, they were two of the first chinks in the armor that I didn't pay too much attention to. But in hindsight, I definitely should have. Bad Boys. My connection to the New York music scene came through one of my East Coast clients, Eric Von Zip Martin. We just called him Zip. I first met Zip back in 1990 or 91 during our annual Southside versus Santana Block street game of baseball. He was the pitcher for the other team. We started calling him Doc Holliday after the Old West legend because he had a reputation of being a New York street dude. He was an intelligent, laid-back, good dude with a big heart. Zip knew everybody in New York. In fact, Zip is the one who introduced me to Sean Puffy Combs back in 1991 and 92. The two were very close friends. I met a few people from New York through Zip. About a year after our initial meeting, Zip came out to the West Coast and invited a few of us to a party they were having for Puffy at the El Rey Theater.
Look at that.
At the time, Puffy was a talent director at Uptown Records, working with Jodeci and Mary J. Blige. About 8 or 9 of us took Zip up on his invitation and went to the party at the El Rey Theater with him. Zip was on the guest list, so he led us into the VIP section. That night, we met Jaleel Green Eyes from Houdini and Busta Rhymes. Zip brought us over to where Puffy was and made the introduction. These are my folks. We shook hands, and that was it. I could tell then Puffy had a little swag, but he was like a young kid to me. Back then, Puffy was broke, relatively speaking, because his music industry career was just getting started. I was the one with the big paper back then, filling the bathtub for cases and bottles. They were still drinking that White Lightning, pouring liquor from the bootleg houses in New York. I wasn't going for that shit. Stop by the bottle store, and I was popping bottles. I was the one wearing gloves fitting Armani, Versace, Canali, and Brioni suits. I was rich when I met that motherfucker Puffy. I don't blame him, but meeting Puffy has been like a bad dream from which I'm still trying to wake up. I hate that I ever met that son of a bitch. My life has gone backward ever since. After that Vegas shit, the FBI shut me down on my ass. My days turned rainy fucking with Puff. Puff got in touch with me a few months after we met to see about renting one of my 64 lowriders for Usher's first video, Can You Get With It?
Yep.
I charged Puff $2,400 to use a lowrider for 1 day. Set the car up in the Hollywood area on the tow truck and had one of my partners stay up there with it. In the video, Usher was dancing on the hood and fucked up the paint, so they had to send me $4,400 to repaint it. Back then, the Southside Compton Car Club was a well-off crib set with about 35 cars, jackets, plaques in the window, everything. Several celebrities rented out cars for videos, including Marquise Houston, Melly Mel in his video with Redman, and Eazy-E. In the summer of '95, Zip came through the neighborhood and said, Puffy and them are having the Beat Summer Jam show tonight.
Let me stop right here because this is important. This is verifiable too. This part. So they borrowed Keffe D's car in Usher's first music video. Okay, so hold up. Let me show y'all. Y'all can see I'm not gonna play the music video, but you can see there's Puffy right there riding the car. This is the car that he's talking about. This is where Usher was at. Give me 1 sec, guys. Sorry, guys. So what was I showing you? Okay, so this is Usher's first music video. This is the car. This car belongs to Keffe D. Okay, this is the car that they were referencing, just so people that don't know. That is Keffe D's car right there. So back when he did the proffer in the confession, he mentions this car. He mentions that him and Diddy had a deal, and he basically dented that car, so they had to actually like repair this car for Keffe D. So that's part of the issue. This is why he was talking about this here. So I just wanted to give you guys a reference of like how far back. So for Keffe to say, well, nothing that I said in the book was real, it was all fake. Well, that part was real. That part was real because it gave credit to all of that. But okay, all right then.
Y'all want to go? Cool, let's go. When we arrived at the venue, Zip took us to the VIP entrance for all the talent agents. It was a hell of a show. Tretch opened up, then Jodeci, then Mary J. Blige, then Junior Mafia, Biggie, then Puff, Faith, and Craig Mack. Biggie performed Dangerous, Juicy, and then brought the house down with One More Chance. You definitely got your money's worth at their shows with all the hits they were dropping. Our crew was 20 to 30 deep, and we were all up on the stage. Most of us wearing Dallas Cowboys gear, drinking bottles, and smoking weed. The performances took place on a rotating stage, and on one of the rotations, I spotted Suge standing over to one side. Suge appeared to me like he was getting jealous. Biggie had that hot-ass hit, One More Chance, which was the banger of the summer. Suge had Death Row Records, but they didn't have any big hits banging at the time. Out of the corner of my eye, I could see Suge looking at me. Then he gestured for me to come over to speak with him. Keffe D, let me holler at you. What's up, dog? Then Suge asked, man, how you know them? Same way I know you, the dope game, that's how I know them. After the show that night, Puff gave an off-the-chain after party where he was the DJ. I didn't know them could DJ like that. Not long after that show, the Source Awards happened. And that's when Suge made the controversial comment. Any artists out there that want to be an artist and stay a star and don't have to worry about the executive producer trying to be all in the videos, all on the records, dancing, come to Death Row. Wu-Tang and them were in the house deep and started booing. The beef was really with Wu-Tang. But I guess Suge seen them Wu-Tang with some grown-ass men, so they went and picked on them youngsters from Junior Mafia. The beef wasn't with Junior Mafia. The Wu-Tang were the ones giving them a hard time. Soon after Suge's Source Awards comment, Zip came back in town. Zip must have orchestrated with Puff. I'm gonna be with Keffe D and them tonight. Because Zip's phone rang as we were rolling down Greeley, and it was Puff. He answered, hey, what's up, Puff? Yo, where's your boy Keffe D? I need to talk to him. He right here. Zip passed me his phone. Puffy wants to talk to you. What's up, dog? Man, we're about to do the BET tour. Then he paused. You think it's cool for us to come out there? I was kind of puzzled. Why wouldn't it be? Your boy, big CEO, he's tripping. He was talking about Suge. I didn't know that their two factions were having funk at the time. Something had happened in Atlanta where Big J from Kevin Park had gotten shot, supposedly by Wolfie, one of Puffy's bodyguards from New York. Our position was we weren't getting in the middle of that shit. I told Puff, just send me 40 to 50 tickets and we'll be in there deep at all your concerts. And that's what happened. Puffy would give us tickets to be at their Bad Boy West Coast shows. We went everywhere with them fool. We'd meet up with them at the hotel, get the tickets, and go with them. I used to ride in the van with the Crips for backstage deep at most of those West Coast shows. When Suge got everybody in the music industry intimidated, I knew he was soft and didn't have a heart. Because I played Pop Warner football with him. We didn't give a fuck about Suge and his crew. To us, they were Rudy Poo. We had been fighting all of our lives. Up until then, Suge was in college hanging around rappers, perhaps punk and rappers. He couldn't punk real street dudes. He wasn't in the streets like that. He wasn't gonna do what real street would do to your ass. The way it would work was Zip would fly out and meet us at different locations. Zip always knew where Puffy was staying because they were close. When it was time to get the tickets, we would meet up with them at the hotel. That year, on Halloween night, Bad Boy had a concert at the Anaheim Pond. I picked Zip up from the Long Beach airport, and about 12 of us went to the hotel where they were staying. When we got to Puffy's suite, Andre Harrell was in there, and it was a room full of Crips. We started drinking bottles, and then Puffy came out of the bathroom butt naked with nothing but a towel wrapped around him. I don't know what the fuck he was thinking or trying to prove, but I would have never done any shit like that. Puffy was so scared during this time that he had hired ex-Navy SEALs wearing earpieces like they worked for the CIA in the hotel room right next to his suite. We were laughing our asses off. Them streets would have killed them SEALs fast as a motherfucker. It's a dirty game on these streets. SEALs play by the books. Street don't. When it was time to head to the venue, I rode over in the hotel van with Puff and Zip. In the dressing room, they had a Kentucky Fried Chicken spread. The show that night featured Jodeci, Mary J. Blige, Naughty by Nature, the whole Bad Boy crew, Craig Mack, Biggie, Little Kim, Total, 112, and Junior Mafia. When we got back from the concert, we were up in Puff Suite playing 456, also known as CeeLo on the East Coast, on a payroll on the bed. It was Trash, D-Mac from Mansfield, who was also Puff's college roommate at Howard University, Puff, and a few of the homies. Those didn't know that shooting dice was my little hustle before I got started in the dope game. I was tearing their asses up. Arnell Simpson, O.J. Simpson's daughter, was dressed in a cat outfit that night and came in the room to see Tretch. That's when O.J. was going through his shit. Tretch told her to get on the bed, and now for him, baby. She kicked her leg.
Tretch. Whose daughter? O.J. Simpson's daughter? Did he say that correctly? Oh, he was name dropping in 2019. He said that she was in a cat outfit and Tretch. Oh, Lord have mercy. Let me hit play on this. Man, oh man.
Her leg up and started yelling like a pussycat.
Oh, Lord.
Used to be off the chain. There were all kinds of drugs and shit being passed around, but we didn't fuck with drugs like that. A lot of those pimp dudes like Duane, Good Game and them, they were smoking crack and snorting cocaine. One dude was sitting down sniffing a mixture of heroin and cocaine called a speedball. I asked him, "The fuck are you doing?" He said, "This shit here is better than a nut." I had to tell him, "You don't need nothing better than a nut. That shit doesn't go down out here like that. Crips ain't about that. The only thing we used was weed and drank a lot of bottles." One night, when Puff and Zip were in town, I got a call from Zip. "Yo, Puff said he needs to speak with you. Come to meet us at Greenblatt's Deli on Sunset." A few of my partners and I went down to meet Puff and Zip at Greenblatt's Deli and Fine Wines. The place sat between the strip club and the Laugh Factory on Sunset Boulevard. We went in through the back entrance and started smoking weed on the back patio. That evening, Ron Isley, a.k.a. Mr. Biggs, and Angela Winbush pulled up in there driving a triple white Rolls Royce.
Ron Isley, Mr. Biggs, okay? The Isley brothers. Okay. This is the meeting that's been like referenced in so many things. This is what was referenced in the proffer, in the proffer, that recording that was leaked, okay? So, and the story here has not changed in terms of that meeting. There might have been things that have changed around it, who knew and what, but the basis of it hasn't really changed.
The rag was white, the seats were white, and the interior was cocaine white. That thing was pretty. Miss Winbush had a white fur wrapped around her. They were supremely hard. Zip and Puff were double dating that night. Zip was with one girl, and they brought one of the girl's cousins that was actually from our neighborhood as a tag-along for Puffy. The girl from our neighborhood had the reputation of being loose, but Puffy didn't know that. We were all laughing at that fool because he was all hugged up and kissing her, but he didn't know the kind of girl she was back in the hood. A group of us went downstairs to play Sonoma. I remember ordering a pastrami sandwich. Then I added, "Give me a couple of those Tattinger Rosé." Puff waved me over to step to the side with him. "I need to speak with you, big dog." We stepped off to the side where we were able to speak privately. Like a lion on the Serengeti, I'm able to smell and see fear. Puffy was full of fear. "What's up?" I asked. "I have a couple of problems I need to be handled. Big CEO and Pop." I looked at him in his eyes, and without hesitation, I responded, "That's not a problem. We can make that happen." After our brief convo, we went back upstairs and ate. He ate at the table with the broads, and I was with my folks. I didn't tell my guys what Puffy and I discussed while we were eating. I waited until we were in the car on the way home. Then Puffy wanted us to take care of Big CEO and Tupac. I bet they would give us $1 million for those heads. While Puffy and Suge were in the midst of their ongoing feud, Tupac became a problem when he made that cold-ass diss song, "Hit 'Em Up." Pop ate them up with that song, and Puffy didn't like that. That diss song made Puffy mad, calling them gay like that. Wouldn't you be mad? At the end of that song, Tupac hit us too with that, "And if you want to be down with Bad Boy, then fuck you too." That shit made Southsiders mad. Even though he didn't name us, we took that as a dig to the Southside. Before the shit in Vegas happened, I ran into Tupac a few times. I can honestly say he seemed to be a cool guy. The first time I saw him was in 1989 at the Greek Theater, where Flavor Flav and his crew Public Enemy performed, along with Digital Underground. Tupac was a part of the Digital Underground crew, doing his little part on stage wearing a diaper. We were near the front of the stage on the side. He came out with that punk-ass diaper on. One that I was with from Track New Park was bagging on his ass, talking about a grown man walking around in a diaper. We saw Tupac again at a house party in the Valley with a whole bunch of young black celebrities. Will Smith, Jada Pinkett, Queen Latifah, MC Lyte, Tashina Arnold, Duane Martin, and his wife, Tisha Campbell. Puffy and Tupac showed up at the party together. I don't know what the fuck was going on at that party, but I wasn't feeling too comfortable there, so we got the fuck up out of there. Tupac was when he got out of jail and came out with the record, California Law. Once again, Tupac had a line in that song, recognized from Long Beach and Rosecrans, which didn't sit right with Southsiders.
There you go.
Some Southsiders were up at the House of Blues on Sunset, and we ran into Tupac. He was up there with Big Syke from the Outlaws. The homie Oldie went up and grabbed Tupac by the collar and pushed him against the wall and said, "You know what that Long Beach and Rosecrans stand for?" Big Syke spoke up. "Nah, homie, he just rapping on a song, homie. He don't know what's going on out here." Oldie warned him, "That's some Pyru shit. You better ease up on that shit. Pac had his chance." He should have learned his lesson then. Tupac mistakenly thought Suge and the Death Row crew they were rolling with were untouchable and would protect him. He seemed to have lost touch with the reality of the streets, that everyone can be touched. He didn't understand that we were high power. We did the shit he rapped about, for real. We weren't into that music industry shit. We were going up against real in the streets every day of our lives. Unfortunately, the next time we would see Tupac would be September 7th, 1996. The fateful night in Las Vegas, Nevada, when Tupac and the crew he chose to run with crossed the line and put their hands and feet on my nephew, Baby Lane.
There you go.
Death Row.
Orlando Anderson. I had to slow it down a little bit because it was going a little too fast. So this is where he gets Baby Lane is Orlando Anderson, right? That's Keffe D's nephew. So again, this is Keffe D's word, even though he's got like a co-writer and somebody who wrote this for him. But essentially, he told the guy what to write. This book was released in 2019. This is the book that he wants to suppress. Okay.
When my phone rang, I already knew who was calling and what it was about. I'm on parole. I can't be strolling up in D.C. The Metropolitan Detention Center is a U.S. federal prison in downtown Los Angeles. I was expecting Boss Man's call because the day before, he had sent his broad to visit me. She came by the house and passed along his message. Boss Man wants you to go and visit him. I shared my concern with her. Tell Boss Man to give me a call. When my phone rang the next morning, I knew it was him. Boss Man had become a big timer on the streets. And if he was calling me to visit him, I knew it wasn't for no bullshit. In 1990, when the feds took Boss Man down, they also took 41 people from his crew along with him. They confiscated all his shit. Something like 26 cars, 13 Harley Davidsons, 4 businesses, 20-something houses, and $9 million in cash. My dilemma was that I was nervous as hell to visit the MDC because I was still on parole. I wasn't sure if I walked up in there, if I'd be free to walk out. After my opening comment, Boss Man responded like he didn't know a word I said. "I got a plug up here. I need you to come up here and see me." He had said the magic word, plug. The next day, I pushed my nerves to the side and went to visit him. "Dog, I have 300 kilos out there that they didn't get. I need you to move them for me. You're the only one left out there." He continued. "I'm going to use the money to start this record company called Death Row. What you think?" Shit, I didn't know what to think. "Man, you know anything about the record business?" I asked. "No." "You want to be the head of it?" he asked. "Hell no. I don't know nothing about the record business either. Just give me the dope." "You think it's going to work?" he wondered aloud. I didn't want to hurt his feelings, but had to keep it real. "I don't think so, dog. Just giving you my true opinion. As far as moving the dope, though, I'll make that happen. Don't worry about nothing," I assured him. My crew and I did the footwork, got rid of all 300 kilos, and delivered the money where it needed to go. There have been books and documentaries about the inner workings of Death Row Records once it got started. I have nothing to say about any of that, the good or the bad. What I do have firsthand knowledge of is that the money for Death Row Records came from real street. Boss Man was the real that put the money up for Death Row Records. I don't know how Harry O got involved. I know Harry O was locked up in MDC.
Death Row, who Suge Knight's, right? He said that people were putting up the money for the company, that it wasn't. So this is what I'm saying. It's like Suge Knight and Keffe D had a relationship. They just, the night of the shooting, I mean, when the beating happened at the MGM, that's what made Keffe D go after, basically avenge Orlando Anderson and whatnot. But again, Orlando Anderson, I mean, he was killed too a couple years after that. So it's like the only people that are alive to have witnessed the crime is Keffe D and Suge Knight. And both of them, I mean, Keffe D is incarcerated right now, but Suge Knight is also incarcerated and whatnot. Yep. You said Boss Man, who got all his work from down south. That's right. So it's a lot. So, it's like the music industry, but there was a lot of drugs in the middle of the industry, if that makes sense. And this is where the mixture of that happened between the music and the drugs, right? Because they had access to it. You had, drug dealers that were running the industry as well, or at least had connections to it or invested to it.
MDC at the same time as Boss Man. Both of them had drug cases at the same time. But I know Boss Man was a central player in that shit. I know that as an indisputable fact. That's how Suge got into it, because my boy had a couple of houses in Suge's head. Boss Man had his girl running things for the record company. She was only 19 years old, a fucking kid. She didn't know anything about the record business. Boss man told me, I need you to buy my daughter a car so she can handle her business. Okay, cool. I was looking for a Maxima or Honda Accord. She came back with, boss man said for you to buy me a Benz. Bitch, I ain't even got a Benz. That's why he's locked them out, that Benz shit. I went on and copped her the Benz. Boss man and I ended up falling out over some dumb shit. His broad came over to my place one day with some white guys telling me to give her some money. I recall some game one of my advisors once told me, bitches are like white boys. They will tell on your ass. I never forgot that. I said, bitch, first of all, you don't have no business bringing white people to my house. What you want me to be, boss man's cellmate? What the fuck are you trying to do? I guess she relayed what I told her back to boss man. He must not have liked that shit. Not only did me and my crew put the work in to get the money up to start Death Row, but one day Suge called me. He was trying to get in touch with Eazy-E, who along with Dr. Dre and MC Ren were all from the neighboring Compton Crip set, Kelly Park. Eazy-E used to sell dope with my brother, and my brother would go out on tour with NWA. We used to cook dope at his mama's house. I remember when Eazy-E first started and he used to be on the turntables and I'd be like, what the fuck is that? It used to sound terrible. Then when I was in the pen, this fat came over and was like, man, that Eric Wright is rolling. He started rapping, cruising down the street in my 6'4". I started cracking up. Suge and I both knew Eazy because Eazy was in the dope game. Suge tried to influence Eazy to be on Death Row. Eazy-E was like, nope, I'm sticking with Ruthless. Suge called me that day to ask me to help him get Dr. Dre's number. I didn't know Dre personally, but I made a few calls and got Dre's number for him. Next thing I know, he convinced Dre to come to Death Row. Boss man helped persuade Dre because they had a lot of money to play with. Eazy-E was throwing those little $70,000 checks around. Death Row had millions. When you cook that water, you're an automatic millionaire. There's a big difference in the level of money when you prepare that water. When I heard the song Deep Cover, the first shit Death Row released, I was genuinely happy for them, Compton. About a year later, Death Row Records blew up, and the rest is history. They came up and became one of the most influential independent record labels, generating hundreds of millions of dollars. They had some of the biggest names in hip-hop history: Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, and Tupac. Dr. Dre was smart and got away from that bullshit at the right time. And now he's one of the wealthiest guys in hip-hop. Dre saw that Suge and them were feuding with his homies, going against the hood when they were supposed to be making millions. I don't know what possessed Suge to get himself into something that he didn't have any business. I'll never understand why they would wait to reach 100 million to become a gang member. Don't be surprised by the collaboration that existed and the part I willingly played in helping to get Death Row off the ground.
Yeah.
Keep in mind, at that time, things were cool between Suge and me.
Again, they grew up together. They knew each other, of each other growing up. So this is what he's saying is Keffe D said that he invested money to Death Row, and that's why he had the encounters that he had with various celebrities. That's why he's name dropping. So he wrote this, I would say co-wrote it. He profited from this book. He got profits from this book. So he didn't have a problem with his name being on this book. But in this specific book, I mean, he's saying a lot. He's owning the fact that he was part of a gang, and he's owning the fact, the activity that he did, and how he, had various plugs and connections with Colombia and a bunch of other, people and whatnot when it came to the drugs. And he's letting people know that he had a part in basically starting off Death Row Records, right? So this is his perspective, of course, that's what he says.
Remember, Suge was not a known blood back then. He was a college student. Trust me, I would have known. The generation of Crips that I come from is different than this new generation of Crips. When we were young, we were so dangerous that Bloods couldn't even wear red around us. I sworn riots. Colors mattered to us more than the Union blue and the Confederate gray. The fighting between us was almost as fierce. If we saw somebody wearing red, we would make a U-turn and get their ass. No questions asked. It's calmed down a lot now, but in my generation, Crips were vicious, and people knew it. The first time I had a conflict with any of Suge's Death Row people was at a video shoot for a group Suge was working with called the 6ix9ine Girls at a mansion in Hidden Hills. Sergeant Reynolds, who was a Compton police officer but moonlighted doing private security for Death Row, was out in front of the gate wearing his right-way security gear. We had previous run-ins with Reynolds in Compton, and we didn't know it then, but we were going to have more costly run-ins with him in the future. Reynolds was like, y'all ain't getting in. I don't know why the fuck y'all came all the way out here. We were about 4 carloads deep. We were at the bottom of the hill and needed to go up the hill where there was a gate to get in. I saw this girl from Compton that I knew and I yelled, hey, tell Suge to come down here. After a few minutes, Suge came walking down the hill. Suge asked, who all with y'all? All of us, as I turned to look over my shoulder at the crew I was rolling with that night. He turned to Reynolds and said, let him room. We were clowning Reynolds' ass as we rolled past the entry gate, headed up the hill. We were in there partying, watching a video shoot, and Suge and I got to talking about hooking up, doing some stuff together. Suge took a puff on the cigar he was holding, tilted his head up, and blew out the smoke. He said, man, if we ever hook up, we're gonna be on top of the world. I thought to myself, bitch, we already on top. He did make some good points about how dominant our team would have been if we would have joined forces. The video shoot started outside by the swimming pool and moved inside. We were all standing by the stairs. And when I began to walk up the stairs, this tall ass girl, she had to be at least 6'1", started tripping. I'm not sure if as I started to walk up the stairs, I brushed up against her ass or something, but if I did, it wasn't intentional. The girl turned as I walked by and said, this is death row, motherfucker, as if that was supposed to mean something to me. I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. Suge shut her down quick. Bitch, shut up. I don't understand why she chose to fuck with me. Of all the people I was with, I was the worst one for her to say that stupid shit too, because I really didn't give a fuck. If she knew who I was, she wouldn't have said that ignorant shit. A couple of months later, one night when we were hanging out at the Luna Park Club on Robinson and Santa Monica Boulevard, we ran into that.
Yeah, please tell the people to hit the like button, please, and thank you. Hit the like button, please, and thank you. We have so much to review. I'm trying to get to relevant parts. I'm trying to see, is it 9:01? Hold up, y'all. Let me see if I can pull the transcript, because it's a lot. The guy is a bit of a storyteller. You know, he tells you a little bit of his own kind of connections and whatnot. But I'm trying to see if we can get to September, what is it? When the shooting happened, September in 1996. And so I'm just like, can we get there? Where are we going to? Because he mentions a lot. He goes in there. He tells you yada, yada, yada. Okay, let me see.
1993 Buick Regal. Riding in a green van was my brother Little Dog, Fat Man, and Trey. Zip and the female rapper Foxy Brown were in a black 500 series Benz. We rolled up a few fat joints with some California orange weed, jumped onto the 10 freeway, hit the 15, and jumped all the way out there. Frankie Beverly, Silky Smooth, Before I Let Go got us started, and we played hit after hit for the Trip soundtrack. The Dramatics, Luther Vandross, Chaka Khan, the OJs, Anita Baker, the Isley Brothers. I wasn't a big fan of gangster rap since I was living that gangster life. They were rapping about what I did every day. Instead, we cruised to Vegas the whole trip, listening to non-stop classic R&B. We arrived at the newly opened Caesars Palace Resort and Casino around 5 p.m. It was a huge place with all the amenities you could think of and a massive casino floor, which was perfect since all of us loved to gamble. We laid our heads in the Caesars Palace, but for partying, kicking back, and meeting up, we would always get some rooms at the Carriage House. The Carriage House was about a block off the strip, but it was cool because they had suites with kitchenettes where you could cook your food.
He's about to get to that part of the shooting. And then you guys, I guess, you hear him talk about it. You guys decide what his stance is of the shooting, what he confesses to, what he doesn't confess to.
The night we arrived at Caesars Palace, we laid back, popped a few bottles, went down to the casino, and started gambling big. We was betting $1,000 a roll, having a ball, doing what players do. I gave my wife $2,500, and she went out with a few of the ladies who had traveled down with us. When it was time to be with us, they were with us. But they did their separate girl stuff, shopping, gambling, and sitting by the pool. On Friday, my nephew Baby Lane and some of my little homies came down and kicked it with us. Baby Lane was about 6'3", with an athletic build. He was slim but muscular, a one-punch knockout master. He was a good dude with a big heart. He'd give the shirt off his back to anybody in need. And he
Baby Lane, Orlando. Okay, Anderson, that's what he's talking about.
Loved life. In all, we were down there about 18 deep. We rented 3 rooms on the same floor at Caesars Palace and had a ball. For the major events, not only would we be out there gambling and partying hard, but we would also do like Missy Elliott's song and get super duper fly. Once we gambled a bit, I headed over to the Versace store in the shopping wonder of the world, also known as the Forum Shops at Caesars Palace. I purchased a $3,000 blue suit with white pinstripes, some blue Crocs from the Gucci store, and a white shirt with a blue and gold tie. I went to Cousins Fine Tailoring and had them tailor my suit up for me. We went to Neiman Marcus and picked up some of that expensive-ass Indian cologne that has a different smell every time you put it on. When my nephew, Baby Lane, came down with his homies, he saw former MLB baseball player Barry Bonds with a badass brown Versace tuxedo. So, Baby Lane, being the baller that he was, went out and bought a black version of the same $6,000 Versace tux he saw Barry Bonds wearing. Some people have a hard time understanding how we were living. When they hear the word, they imagine somebody with their pants sagging beneath their butt. But what they fail to realize is once a gangbanger becomes a gangster, you pull your pants up. There's a difference between gangbangers and gangsters.
There you go.
We were gangsters.
Y'all hear that? There's a difference between gangbangers and gangsters, and we were gangsters, okay? You said very grandiose. He does. He has a very, even in 2019, you cannot take his self-grandiose personality away. So DC, thank you so much for the jewels. Thank you, love. Linda McCarthy, shout out to you, member for 24 months, 2 years. Thank you, love. Thank you for supporting the channel. Shout out to Linda. Pika, my mod, my wonderful mod. Thank you for the jewels. And Nebby, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. Hold up, y'all. Make sure you guys are hitting the like button and hyping, please, and thank you. All right, let's keep going because he's getting to the part that's very relevant to this.
One year, we went to Ice-T's New Year's Eve party, and we were so fresh, smelling so good. We had our bottles in our hands. Ice-T was like, those are some real players right there. That night, I was wearing a $2,500 cashmere overcoat over my suit. Fight night finally arrived. I sat on the second row, not far from some of the celebrities that were in the house. Since I had purchased a fight ticket from a scalper buddy, our seats were spread out all around the arena. We had decided before we went in that when the fight was over, we would all meet at the cafe inside the MGM. Once the fight started, it didn't take long for Iron Mike to put Bruce Seldon's lights out. Mike put him down on the canvas for the first time with about a minute 40 seconds left in the first round. Then less than 20 seconds later, the fight was over. TKO. After the match, we headed to the prearranged meeting place where we waited for about 15 minutes. Little by little, everybody started showing up, except my nephew. Then, some 118 East Coast Crips came and told us that they saw some death row jump on my nephew down by the casino. We came to find out later that the same dude from the Lakewood Mall that got his chain snatched was walking with Tupac when they saw Baby Lane in the lobby of the MGM. We rushed up out of the cafe and went to find Baby Lane. We saw him inside the MGM minutes after they had jumped him. By the time we got there, Suge, Pac, and their crew had already left. Baby Lane's shoulder was a little messed up, but other than that, he was all right. When I asked him what happened, he said, "Them death row rushed me. One of them from the Lakewood Mall was running with that boy that started that shit. A few East Coast Crips came over and asked if we wanted them to go with us. Nah, we're good. We'll handle our shit. We're good looking now." We appreciated their offer, but this was a matter we were determined to handle ourselves. We couldn't let no record company studio gangsters do us like that. Had they lost their fucking rapping ass minds? On top of that, Puffy had already talked to me about helping him out with the problem he was having with them. That was a double whammy. Then you add on top of that the fact that we helped Suge with the money to get his.
On top of that, Puff was already telling me about the problem that he had with this guy. So that was a double whammy. Okay.
Record business going and gonna bite the hands that fed him? Add insult to injury because Suge still hadn't paid Boss Man his money back. Got too big for his britches and stopped taking Boss Man's calls. Strike 3, homie. You're out. Fuck that big homie. We know what I'm gonna be. They're gonna be at Club 662. Their rage was evident, ignited upon learning that my nephew, Baby Lane, had gotten jumped. How y'all know? I calmly asked. Them been on the radio out here for weeks, talking about a death row after fight party at Club 66. That nigga Pac's supposed to be there. Club 662 was a Las Vegas nightclub owned by Death Row CEO Suge Knight. The intelligence was from reliable sources, as some of the younger homies from our set have been stationed in Vegas selling dope, a satellite operation of sorts. All right, homies, I commanded. That's where we're going then, Club 662, as we headed to our vehicles. Southside had not gone down to Vegas thinking about marrying Suge Knight or Tupac Shakur. We were out there to do what we have been doing in Vegas for years. Eat, drink, and be merry. When conversations would come up about $1 million bounty on the heads of Suge Knight and Tupac Shakur, that was business. But after Tupac, Suge, and them death rows jumped on my nephew, Baby Lane, the shit became honestly personal. While we were waiting for the valet to bring out our cars, Zip seized the opportunity and called me over to his Benz. Zip was a big-time New York player, pimp, and hustler. He used to come out to California to handle his business and kick it with us sometimes. As I walked up to the driver's side window, I noticed that the rapper Foxy Brown was in the car with Zip. So he instructed her to step out of the car and motioned for me to jump in. Zip had a hidden compartment that he opened up, reached in, and pulled the black 40 Glock out. He turned to me and said, "It's time to get the money." Zip handed me the 17-shot pistol, which I promptly put down the back waist of my pants. I hopped out of the car, held the door open for Foxy Brown to get back in, closed the door, and they pulled off. "Get in the car you came in. Let's roll," I shouted as our cars came out from the valet. We left immediately from the MGM parking lot and headed directly to Club 662. I was still appropriately dressed in my Ray Luca crime story suit, since there was about to be a real-life crime story.
Oh.
We pulled into the back.
Oh, this is him confessing. It's about to be a real-life crime story, and you don't want... This is what he's trying to suppress. You're telling them exactly what you're about to do, right? And yes, Foxy enters the chat. Well, that's a great question. How old was she? Because she was also a child when she came into the industry.
The back parking lot of Club 662, where the talent and VIPs entered. In front of the club, there was a long line of excited, drunk people waiting to enter the club. I planned to confront Suge. Hey, why the fuck y'all jump on my nephew? The ironic thing is, I had just seen Suge in Vegas the night before the fight. He and members of his death row crew were rolling in their Rolls Royces. We greeted each other and everything. What's up, big dog? What's up? We were both major players in the same game. Suge had the music industry, I had the streets. We both had the same boss. If I had a beef with something Southside had done, Suge could have said something to me when he stormed me that night. Instead, Suge and his boys committed the ultimate disrespect when they kicked and beat down my nephew, Baby Lane, in a video broadcast on news station seen around the world. In case my diplomatic approach to resolving the situation didn't work, we had 3 vehicles, 3 to 4 people in each, ready to burn their asses up. My crew was do or die. All my young homies had already been shot at least once, so their street experience turned them into some stone cold killers. They had the mentality of, it's either them or me, and it ain't gonna be me. With solemn faces, we waited in complete silence in the back parking lot of Club 662 for more than an hour. Inside our vehicles, nobody took a drink. There was no weed, no music, not a peep. We were as grave as a heart attack. The only thing audible was breathing and tense, throbbing heartbeats. There was no need for words. We all understood while we were there. We waited for an hour and a half, which felt more like 4 hours. I decided for us to get the fuck out of there. I called the homies on their phones. They're taking too damn long. Let's get fucked up. Move out. One by one, the drivers started their engines and slowly crept out of the back parking lot. Lucky for them, they never showed up, because it would have been like Al Capone's Valentine's Day Massacre if they had. One thing about our crew, when it was time to handle business, we handled it with the best of them. And when it was time to have fun, we did that too. It's not that we were over what had happened to Baby Lane. It's just we couldn't control when they were going to show up. Waiting so long was stopping us from doing what we had gone to Vegas to do in the first place. Have a good time. Our next destination was the Carriage House, a Las Vegas hotel where we had rented a few rooms as a kickback spot. On the way to the Carriage House, we stopped by the liquor barn. Dom Perignon Rose, and Cristal. As we were driving to the liquor barn, it became evident that the guys in the van with me were worried that Suge would get some of his police hitmen to come back and try to kill us if we went after them. The police do hits for that, one of them said. I remember thinking to myself, y'all shouldn't have jumped y'all punk asses in here if you're scared. Y'all know what we came here to do. C-Ray was one of my top salesmen and later became the first one to start snitching on was in the van with me.
You know what, Mama Llama? They don't even need a witness list. He just done told everybody who the witnesses are. Foxy, all these other people that if they're still alive, great. Half of these people aren't alive anymore. They're not.
Along with his cousin Trey and BMF's Big Meech out of Detroit. As we were loading up to leave the liquor barn, I took advantage of the chance to get away from them scaring in the van. I jumped in the front passenger seat of the Cadillac because I knew that in the caddy wasn't with that bullshit. I pulled out the Glock that Zip gave me and tossed it in the back seat. Bubble Up did the driving. Baby Lane and Freaky were riding in the back. After our pit stop at the liquor barn, we continued towards the Carriage House. As we were driving, the 2 vehicles that were with us got caught at the traffic light. We kept rolling. A few blocks down, we were sitting at the light.
Yep.
Who the fuck did we see? The Death Row Caravan hit the corner with Tupac hanging out of the window of a black luxury BMW waving to his fans.
Yep, Big Meech is mentioned as well. Yep, yeah, a lot of names dropped.
People on the streets were screaming, Tupac, Tupac, we love you, Tupac. In unison, all of our heads turned. There them motherfuckers go right there. If Pac had not been hanging out of the window, we would have never seen him. Buster you, Buster you. Bubble Up busted a U-turn and hit the gutter lane on their asses. As they sat in traffic, we slowly rolled past the long line of luxury cars they had in their caravan. We were on a mission, looking into each one, until we pulled up to the front vehicle and found who we were seeking. Like 2 rams locked in horns, Suge and I looked each other dead in the eye, our eyes locked. The terrified expression on Suge's face read, damn, them no words exchanged, the time for talking had passed. The shit was about to go down. The next few seconds all happened so quickly. The shit was on. Tupac made an erratic move and began to reach down beneath his seat. It was the first and only time in my life that I could relate to the police command, keep your hands where I can see you. Instead, Pac pulled out a strap, and that's when the fireworks started. One of my guys from the back seat grabbed the Glock and started busting back. First shot skinned Suge in his head. I thought the motherfucker was...
One of my guys, he's saying that Tupac pulled the gun first, and then one of my guys from the back seat. Who was in the back seat? If you guys remember the seating, I think I have it here. This is how they say it happened, which I'm like, I guess that's up for debate. It says Terrence T. Brown was the driver, Keffe D was the passenger, Orlando Anderson was in the back, and Dre Smith was in the back. So there's only 4 people. Okay, let me see if I can remove this real quick to show you guys there's only 4 people. He said one of my guys in the back. There you go. So it had to be Baby Lane, or I think it was Dre, because I don't believe Baby Lane had the gun on him. I think it was Dre, if I remember correctly. And he does, I think, say it in the book at some point. Hold up, let me put that in there. I don't think it was Orlando who pulled the shot. No, I think it was Dre. But let me go ahead and play.
Was dead. I heard stories that Suge supposedly used Tupac as a shield when the bullets started flying. But that's some bullshit. Suge was already wounded. He was the first one that got touched. As the rounds continued flying, I ducked down so that I wouldn't get hit. When the shooting stopped, we boned out, and a white Chrysler Sebring full of young ladies was following us. Their window quickly got shot out, so they stopped. The interesting thing to me was, with all them rough ass they were supposed to have with them, none of them did a damn thing and tried to come after us. There were a lot of shots let off in both directions. I don't know why the Vegas police didn't check Tupac's hands for powder burns to see if he was shooting, because the car we were in was shot the fuck up. I don't understand why people act like Tupac was an angel. Shit, they had busted on some off-duty cops in Atlanta a few years earlier, so he wasn't scared to bust. On top of that, by the time we rolled up, he had to know the person they jumped on in the casino was a Southside Crip, so they had to be on high alert. When the shots settled, a couple of people in our car had fragments and glass in their hair, but none of us had been hit. The strip was in an uproar as police cars and ambulances raced to the scene. Somehow, Suge, instead of driving straight to Memorial Hospital, he did some studio gangster shit. He made a U-turn back onto the Las Vegas Strip. Confident that the death row crew and the police would be looking for the car that we were driving, we abandoned the car and got away from it quickly. In some shit you see on the Twilight Zone, we scurried to get to the other side of Las Vegas Boulevard. When we got to the middle divider, the light changed to red, and we had to wait on the median. As we were standing on the median, waiting to cross Las Vegas Boulevard, 2 ambulances passed by right in front of where we were standing with their sirens blaring. The first ambulance passed by with Tupac in it, and the medics working frantically to provide medical attention. The second one, not too far behind, had Suge in it. There we were, looking right into the ambulances, transporting Tupac and Suge to Memorial Hospital. Everyone knows the rest of the story, as 6 days later, Tupac died as a result of his injury. The moral of the story, real gangsters are nothing to fuck with. It's a ruthless way of life, one that I've lived for the majority of my life. Some gangster rappers have glamorized and glorified the life like it's cool and something to strive for. They have a lot of people's minds twisted. The truth of the matter is, gangbanging and acting like a thug ain't no joke. These street wars taking place in urban communities around the country are as real as the wars that U.S. troops are engaged in around the world. In some cases, the streets' body counts are even higher. For us, Vegas was another day at the office. It may sound cold-hearted, but from a street perspective, the killings of Tupac Shakur and Biggie Smalls will be considered nothing more than collateral damage. As a result, the hip-hop world has lost 2 of its most talented and revered musical artists and icons. At this point in my life, I can say that I have a deep sense of remorse for what happened to Tupac. He was a talented artist with tons of potential to impact the world. I hate that Tupac's family, friends, and fans, especially his mother, Keffe Shakur, had to go through the pain of losing her son. It's terrible losing people like that. I know that pain too well. However, I stand firm on the point that Tupac, Suge Knight, and the rest of those didn't have any business putting their hands on my beloved nephew, Baby Lane, period. Them jumping on my nephew gave us the ultimate green light to do something to their ass. Tupac chose the wrong game to play. Suge and them should have done a better job of protecting that dude, because they knew who the fuck we were and the kind of shit we were capable of. Tupac may not have known, but Suge and his peeps definitely knew. Tupac was a guppy that got swallowed up by some ferocious sharks. He shouldn't have ever got involved in that bullshit of trying to be a dog. Southside Crips earned some strokes on the collar from the street due to the Tupac shooting, but it generated too much attention and put us under a microscope by law enforcement that would not cease and eventually brought us down. It was a big-time loss for everybody involved. Aftermath. When we made it back to the hotel, we popped our bottles.
Let's stop right there, because the next part is probably going to piss a lot of people off. They said they popped their bottles, they went back to partying after the death, and then they even poured some for Tupac. That's what they said. Does this book make things worse for Keffe D? Put a 1 in the chat if yes. Put a 2 in the chat if no. Go ahead and vote. Go ahead and vote. I'm going to stop it right there. We can finish it tomorrow if y'all want to. I know the music, I have to make the music loud enough so that the copyright bot understands. No, put a because you got to put a 1. They won't trigger the poll. You got to put just a 1 or a 2. She puts 1. Y'all got to put 1, not multiple ones. It's not going to count your vote. Oh my God. Y'all got ahead of the poll. Even if it ain't true, Keffe D effed himself talking like this. Yeah, so we could finish some of this tomorrow. I know it's like very headache inducing at some point because it repeats itself over and over. But we have to we have to do what we have to do. First Liberty says absolutely, it makes it worth stalking and consciousness of guilt. So far I'm seeing. They try to get this book thrown out. They're like, no, sorry, we're gonna use it. Prosecution's gonna use this book. Sir, he wanted to get paid. He had to. I don't understand. Because he had to have known. He did it 1,000 times over. Proffer, Vlad, Art of Dialogue, this book. Now, remind you, Vlad paid him $150,000 for the sit-down interview he did like 2-3 years ago. $150,000. He said that the person in the back was the one who shot. Now, hold up. This is the order, okay? Because this is what he said in this proffer tapes. Hold up, y'all. Right here. Here it is. So the person who shot was DeAndre Dre Smith, who is, I believe, was killed a couple years later. You know, now he wants to, I mean, it gave TED Talk, right? Wow, the 1990s were really something, weren't they? I feel a million years. Talk about that, man. I swear. But he did this book in 2019. He got too cocky. He thought that this was never going to catch up to him. I'm telling you, man, the feds, they allow you to play stupid. And then the definition of lying in wait would be the feds, because they're literally lying in wait for you to mess up and do something wrong so they can come after you, okay? They won't use the book line for line. I think it's just a fact where he says that he's a gang, that he's a gang member. He was known for various names. There's that. It's a lot of self-snitching, You said, but, I mean, he totally gave us a TED Talk, a diagram, the how-to, the what he did. He name-dropped. All these people, like Mama Llama said, all these people, there's your witness list, all the names that he just dropped there. Into the chat, Foxy Brown. Into the chat, Ron Isley. All these people that you're like, damn. Now you just involved some people. Missy Elliott was thrown in there too. He even threw the Kardashians in there. He said that if the Kardashians were a thing back in the day, this is how grandiose he said. He said if the Kardashians, we're not at that part yet, but he said that if the Kardashians were a thing back in the day, that they would be on them too. That they would we would be the kinds of gangsters that they would want, the real ones. I kind of believe him too, though. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of believe him. He gave the whole roster and everything. Yeah, even you even apologize about the shooting. How do you walk back from that? Like what? Versace, Gucci, he name dropped. He said he went to Versace. The wife was there. Everybody was there. Talking about mailing things in by the U.S. Postal Office. Oh man. You can't make this up. You can't make this up at all. You said even though he doesn't need to be an active member of the gang, the other witnesses may be people who knew him by his gang names. Maybe. Well, and apparently all the people that he was running with, they all became informants. I mean, I sat there and I said, oh, Lord, there you go. Crimson Moon, thank you so much for being a member for 10 months. Thank you, love, for supporting the channel. 10 months. Shout out to you, love. Thank you. Shout out to Crimson. Everybody. Come in front of the come in front, sit at the principal's office. Y'all are going to court. Everybody's testifying. Everybody. Yeah, self-importance for sure. But I'm sure he regrets it. I'm sure. It's about to get real interesting. Well, all the things that he says about Reggie Wright. I mean, do you guys really believe that Reggie Wright is somebody who's like a complete I'm sorry, I don't know him. Clearly I only know what I read. Mr. Wright, he's definitely been in industry and everything, but like, is he really somebody is he the best witness? Because you heard some stories about Mr. Wright and Mr. Wright Sr. as well, and all the stuff. I'm just like, I don't know how I feel about the Wrights. And I'm not saying that Gene Deal is any better. I mean, you guys heard Gene Deal, and clearly Gene Deal and Wright do not like each other. You said being in the game, being cocky also gets you caught up. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Sylvia, I saw your comment earlier. Y'all, don't be mad at me, but I have to play this because Sylvia, I can't, man. This is like, I gotta play this because this is so hilarious to me. Hold up, y'all. Don't go nowhere. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna try to put it up on my screen. When I saw you comment, she's like, you wonder if this woman is gonna be a witness too. I'm laughing because it's funny.
What happened to Miles? Jay-Z kidnapped Miles from Moesha. We have not seen that little boy in years. And where do you think Jenny Hoffa's body is? Who do you think has it? And Diddy got her pregnant. Jay-Z had Farrah's luggage. Why you think the song was crying? Yo, I was in the back seat when Tupac got shot. I was in the back seat. The windows were tinted. Y'all couldn't see me. I was back there. The diddler did it. Judy from Family Matters. Diddy.
Oh my God. Mel Mick is going to be a witness. I am dead. She said, I was in the back seat. You couldn't see me. The windows were tinted. All right, y'all. I got to go to bed because this is too much. You need to play Michael Jordan now. Wait, which one's Michael Jordan? I don't remember that one. She gonna be a whole witness there. Oh my God.
Took her. Liza Minnelli was supposed to play Dina in Dreamgirls. And guess who made a phone call? Under my umbrella, Ella, all these hurricanes. Who do you think is controlling the weather machine?
I'm so done.
Think about the series finale of Moesha. What happened to Miles?
I could not. When I first saw this, I said, I can't stop laughing. Like my face was hurting me so because it's like she literally put her face, she put herself in the back of the seat of the car.
Jay-Z kidnapped Miles from Moesha. We have not seen that little boy in years.
I can't, man.
And where do you think Jenny Hoffa's body is? Who do you think has it? And Diddy got her pregnant. Jay-Z had Farrah's luggage. Why you think the song was crying?
Oh, yo,
I was in the back seat when Tupac got shot. I was in the back seat. The windows were tinted. Y'all couldn't see me. I was back there.
This is hilarious. I was like, oh, yo, I'm done. I can't do this no more. This right here is like, oh my God. The first time I saw this, I literally could not stop laughing.
The diddler did it. Judy from Family.
Oh man. All right, I'm done. Y'all have a great night. I can't do it anymore. Oh, all right. Because my face hurts now. No, because when Sylvia said that video where she said that she was there when Tupac got shot. That was it. All right, y'all. Y'all have a good night. I gotta go to bed. I'll see you guys tomorrow. So if you want to, I don't know, let me know if you want to finish it or if not. I mean, there's some relevant parts as far as, Puffy if we want to go to the puffy part, but it's still very much lengthy. But I mean, if you have audibles, it's an interesting listen. Just know that there's a lot of strong language. It's not for everybody, that's for sure. But anyways, you guys have a great night. I will see you guys mañana. Bye, guys. Hit the like button. Bye, bye, bye. And thank you for supporting, guys. Oh, and Marmello, thank you so much for your 25-month membership, love. Shout out to you. I almost say goodbye. Thank you, love. Thank you, thank you. And Stellar, thank you so much for the jewels. All right. Aw, y'all are so sweet. Thank you, thank you. We'll finish it tomorrow. Mañana. All right, mañana we'll finish it. I got to get up in the morning early because I want to review some D4VD stuff as well. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. But thank you, guys. Thank you, thank you. Bye, guys. Have a good night. Bye, guys.